It's time for MacBreak Weekly. Andy Anako's here. Jason Snell's here. And one last time, Alex Lindsay is here. We're going to talk about 26.3. Yeah, we're already getting ready for the next version of Mac OS. We'll also talk about the new iPhone that might be coming later this year. Some bad news for Apple in Brazil, Japan, and Italy. And good news for all of us, but we'll explain that in just a bit. MacBreak Weekly is next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is MacBreak Weekly, episode 1004, recorded Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025. A sad farewell. It's time for MacBreak Weekly, the last show of 2025. First show of the last show of, I don't know what it means. Everybody, hello. How are you? Good to see you. We are getting ready for the holidays. I hope your Hanukkah was great. I hope you're going to have a nice Festivus tomorrow. Wait a minute, is Festivus over? Or is it tomorrow? I can't remember. Joining me right now, Jason Snell. Hello, Mr. Snell, wearing your holiday sweater.
Yes, I decided to be festive. I've got my ugly sweater on.
One sweater to rule them all.
Yep, that's right.
Does that glow if you go in the moonlight?
It might. It's possible. It is. we don't know. It may be made of mithril. We just don't know.
Oh, my God. It's a mithril sweater. Let me try to stab you with my little sting and see what happens.
Guess we'll find out.
Ah, the lore. Andy Anako is also here, wrapped in a giant scarf.
Yes, and this isn't one of those fake decorative scarves either. This is the sort of scarf you wear with malicious intent, i.e. maliciousness against cold.
Is it a Doctor Who scarf?
No, it's just red. It's just red, and it's long, and it's cozy, and it's comfy.
Who invented infinity scarves? That seems like such a bad idea. That's the scarf that never ends.
I think it was the Avengers.
Is it a Mobius scarf?
Yeah.
Scarf?
And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alex Lindsay from OfficeHours.global.
Hello. Good to be here.
Now, we have some news about Mr. Lindsay. This pisses me off. Cupertino keeps coming a-calling. And apparently Cupertino has come to your door, Alex Lindsay, for the holiday season. Can you explain?
Yeah, I will be. I'll be transitioning to Apple's developer relations, so I'll be the partnership manager for the 3D ecosystem starting in January.
I hear the screams throughout the MacBreak universe, as if 1,000 voices cried out in agony.
So, Alex, does that mean you're going to be working with Serenity Caldwell, my old pal?
She is in the same building.
Yeah,
she interviewed him
Yes.
for the job.
So
That interview must have been funny. Did you say, "Oh, hi, Alex"?
So we'll all be in the same same.
Are you in the campus, the ring, the spaceship?
I'll be right outside. So there's the developer relations building that's right outside of the ring. So
Needless to say, when people take a job at Apple, they can no longer be on the Apple. Oh.
Yeah, being on MacBreak was probably
Yeah, they won't even let Serenity play Dungeons and Dragons with us anymore on Total Party Kill. Like, it's like, no podcast. No
podcast for you.
Leo, did you even try to make a counteroffer? I mean, come on. Alex is way too valuable to this podcast.
I did write him a giant check. One of those giant party checks.
Yeah.
You can't cash it, but it was giant. It was huge. I can put it on the wall.
We can give you something that Apple cannot, and that's exposure, sir.
Yeah. Well, I got to warn you, Alex, when people go to work for Apple, we've seen it happen time and time again with Serenity, Nathan Alvarez Giles, so many people who've gone to work for Apple. It's like a black hole. They just disappear.
Well, I think that, I really had to think about it a lot. And, you got a lot of time to think about it while you're kind of going down that path. And I think that there's such a huge opportunity with 3D, whether it's Gaussian splat or photogrammetry or how we use 3D inside of what we do. Everything, USDZ, all those things. And I felt like I can't keep on complaining about it if I was offered something and I didn't do something about it. So I can't, and I'm constantly feel like the world just isn't using the tools the way it could. And so I'm super excited of trying to do my part into moving that forward. So
hey, what happens to office hours?
Office hours is still running, and we've reduced the number of days during the week.
Can you do
we
it?
have a panel. I can't do it, so I'll be off. But we have, it's been run by a lot of. I don't even know, to be honest with you, I don't even know how office hours actually runs. Like during the show.
At this point, it's
so there's such a huge community that's managing that, and the panel has always been there, and I had only been hosting a couple days a week for the last year. So, but what we're doing is we're still doing something every day, but when we do things in the evening for the other side of the world, we're not doing the same thing in the morning. So we have evening shows on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and then we still have the same morning show on Wednesday, Friday, and the weekend. Yeah. So it's and so it's kind of funneling a little bit, taking a little pressure off of the panelists, because it's a lot. It's a lot to take live questions all for an hour a day.
Yeah.
So there, but we have such an incredible set of panelists that have been, doing a lot of it without me when I'm traveling and so on and so forth for a long time. So I feel very,
and so you're leaving 090 as well, I would guess.
Yeah. So we're just finishing up the installs for the Arena 1 project. So that's been a mad rush to get it all done.
That's the movie theater one, right?
Yeah. So we've been getting that working, and we've had some really big success in both, getting all the theaters ready to go to start concerts early next year, as well as we've kind of figured out I got a lot of time in an AMC theater, and we figured out how to stream live stereoscopic, concerts, to a screen without without making it too complicated. Nice. And so hopefully people will see the fruits of that next year, where we start doing actual, I don't think anyone's ever seen a live concert in 3D, in stereoscopic live, 30 seconds after it was shot.
Do you wear a helmet, or do you wear glasses? What are they?
It'll be sunglasses, like little sunglasses that you polarize sunglasses in an AMC theater. It's using Real D.
Not the active ones, Real D. Okay.
This is Real D.
I like Real D, actually, of all of them. That's my favorite. So.
Yeah, it can actually work with anything. I mean, it can stream to the Vision Pro. It can stream to the Dolby Active version, to IMAX, and it's a higher frame rate, so it looks way better than 24 frames a second. 3D doesn't really work at 24, which James Cameron has alluded to. So at 60 frames a second, it's more interesting to watch, and it's true optical 3D. So there's no fakery. It's just two cameras that are delivering each eye some content, and so. I'm pretty excited to see where that goes. I mean, it'll probably take some time over next year to make that work, but it's we did a lot of great work over this year, and I needed to finish all of those things before I was able to move into the Cupertino mists.
So we haven't found a replacement yet. I have been canvassing, and I hope we will have announcements soon. Next episode, which will be in January, Shelley Brisbane will be. It's going to be an opportunity for us to bring in some of our favorite people. But I have somebody in mind I'd really love to hire. So, and we're talking with that person. So we'll let you know what happens. But yeah, I'm sad we're gonna lose you. You were the founding member of MacBreak. You created the show.
Well, it's been there's been other opportunities to do other things, and how I choose my jobs has largely been wrapped around office hours and MacBreak and all the other things that were there. And I think that it was really just this specific opportunity was big enough. But it's been incredible. I was like, I can't believe it went 19 years because it's almost exactly 19 years. Because of course our first show was 19 years ago in January, right at Macworld, I think. So we're very close.
Well, my friend. We're going to keep you for the rest of the show, right? You can talk about Apple, right?
I got the rest of the show.
Your last chance.
Yeah, exactly. It's my last chance. So
what a time.
All my opinions are my own.
What a time for you to say, oh, I got a hard out at noon.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm being fitted for my Apple 3D Team blazer.
What do you get as Nooglers get a beanie, and there's all sorts of.
I have no idea. Like I just
there'll
know
be
that
something sitting on your desk when you walk in.
I'll show up on January 5th and find out. So
do you have to work on site?
Yeah, it's some days on site. So it's some days on site, some days off site. So it's So I've got
You're gonna drive to Cupertino, huh?
Very early in the morning. So
I did that. I told you when you told me. I said, yeah, I did that for how long? too long.
Like I did the math
or something.
I did the math in Google Maps, and if I leave at 5:15, it's an hour and 20 minutes. If I leave at 5:45, it's 2 hours. so that'll be a strong push up.
You'll be caught up on podcasts and audiobooks.
Exactly.
by the end of
my family now will know when they can call. Like I'm just sitting in the car doing my thing. So yeah. So that's in my future there.
Yeah. Are you sure that you're still housebroken for like office work, like at a big company?
I don't know. I tell people like I'm
like,
leaving.
Do you have to bring in your own coffee mug, or is a coffee mug going to be provided for you in the break room? That stuff like that.
My wife was like, "This is the first time you've had a grown up job in a long time," and so I tell people that it is a keep the everything warm, because I don't know how long I'll last, but we'll do the best we can. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Wow. Well, we're very excited about your new job and that you're going to be making an honest living. I hope we will hear from you from time to time.
I'm sure you will.
It won't be on the air. I have a feeling. I'm so happy for you. I think that's wonderful. And Apple, actually, when you get there, if you would just mention that Leo wouldn't mind coming to an event or two at the camp. No, don't, because I don't want to tarnish. Wait till you've been there 5 or 6 years, and then.
Again, go baby steps. Basically, first Alex basically sends like an encrypted chat saying there will be a catering cart with a drapery over it by this east exit that will be taken in at 1:02 p.m. And they're not going to be checking underneath the tablecloth. So just don't be giggling while they wheel you into the press room.
It's very fun. We're gonna really miss you, Alex.
Yeah, I was very, very sad when I heard about this, because I mean, this is one of the reasons why I look forward to the show each and every week is a chance to chat with my friends for 2 or 3 hours, and having a couple hours less.
Yeah. I think for me, it's been right. Again, it's been hard. I mean, obviously the concert thing has been 10 years of development.
Wow, you've been working on that 10 years?
Started thinking about what it would look like 10 years ago, and then started doing the pitches about 4 years ago. And then we're just, and I had hoped to, as this all kind of came up, that we'd have our first actual public show. We've had a test show, but our first actual public show before this happened, but we're not quite there yet. So I'll get to be a consumer, and sit and see how it turns out. But and then obviously hanging out with everyone here is MacBreak has been such a huge part of my life in the last 20 years. It's crazy to say 20 years. I feel very old. Wow. But yeah, so it's incredible. So and I just I'm just so grateful, to specifically to you, Leo. I just want to say that it's been really, I showed up at Tech TV because someone that worked at one of your camera operators said that you might be looking for guests, and
who is that? I gotta send that guy a cake.
I'm trying to think of who it was. I think it was Dave, and I can't think of his last. He just said, "Oh, you might want to stop by." And I think I came by and showed camera mapping or something like that.
Oh my God, that's great! I remember you drawing on my face with a Sharpie. I do remember that.
I still get the pictures. Yeah, little dots. Welcome to photogrammetry. Over 20 years ago.
20 years ago. Yeah.
But I it's. Between Tech TV and Twit and everything else, so many of the opportunities that I've had over the last 25 years have been really directly connected to working with you, Leo. And so
now you're going.
Thank you.
To rock and roll heaven, and I'm sure they got an incredible band up there. No, you're going to be with all of our friends. So congratulations to Alex, and stay tuned. Stay tuned. It's not the first transition. In fact, everybody here is relatively newer than Alex. Andy, you've been here for quite a while.
Yep. I still feel like Jason's the new kid on the block.
Jason's the new kid. Yeah.
It's been like 4 or 5 years now.
I know. Right? I don't even know how long it's been now. It seems like a long time.
We might have to stop calling you the Stig.
Yeah, So my Lauren's aunt is Supreme Court justice in the state of Washington. And one of the things that a lot of these courts do is they have a very strict seniority policy. So when you get on the court, you have to sit all the way on the end, and you also have to bring the snacks. It's a true story.
We're gonna slide
and then very gradually you get to not be the person on the end. So I have really enjoyed.
But you do owe us 5
Alex,
years of snacks. I just want to say
I'm happy to not be on the end, so that's nice. But yeah. And I'll just point out, for the record, Google is the one who took Renee from us.
That's right.
It wasn't Apple.
No, that's right.
Big tech giants steal everybody.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think part of that is because so many of our hosts are ink-stained wretches who are happy to be getting a paycheck. And I can't really blame them for that. I really can't. Anyway.
Just those of us unemployables out here.
Yeah.
We stick around.
Yeah, we keep going. Congratulations, Alex. I hope we, hear from you from time to time. I guess it can't be on the show. I wish it would, but...
Yeah, I think it's a different...
Any leaks or secret inside information that we have from now on will absolutely not be coming from Alex Lindsay, though. I have to promise you that. Yeah, because Alex isn't crazy.
I'm used to working on secure projects. Yeah.
Hey, some really good news after that sad news. Our good friend, and I didn't realize how good a friend he was, has got his Apple account back. Yay! I've actually talked to him. In fact, I just sent him. If you're watching, Paris, I just sent him our Zoom link. So if John Ashley, if somebody suddenly appears from Australia, I think it will be Dr. Paris Butfield Addison.
I have to get this all set up now. Okay.
I said, "Did you know we talked about you?" He said, "I've listened to every show since episode 1. I knew you. It was surreal to hear you talking about me." You may remember a couple of weeks ago. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Give me a little bit to get this set up.
Yeah, get Paris in here. He lives in Hobart in Tasmania, which is a beautiful place. In fact, it turns out we met when I was down there maybe 10 years ago for the Lightroom adventure. He's also been to the Brick House. So it really was close to home. He's written books about Apple, including Learning Cocoa with Objective-C, 20 plus books for O'Reilly Media. He's got the longest running Apple developer event not run by Apple themselves, /dev/world. But he made a terrible mistake. He bought an Apple gift card at a well-known retailer in Australia. I think there's only a couple of really big ones, and I think one of them. And turned out it had been used before, and Apple summarily executed him. You could see his blog post at hey.paris. 20 years of digital life gone in an instant, thanks to Apple. Now, when we talked about that, we surmised that maybe by the time we talked about it again, things would have turned around because Paris got a lot of attention. Dr. Butfield Addison, welcome to MacBreak Weekly. It's great to see you, and we're so happy.
Hello, so am I. It's fantastic
I bet you are.
To be here.
What was what was the consequence of losing your Apple account?
Oh my God. So many things break that you don't expect to break. Like every time I spoke to Apple, they were like, it should only affect X, Y, and Z. But then when I actually started using my computer, everything started failing because iCloud lost its connection. And as far as I can tell, because they deauthorized my account from doing whatever it is that my account was allowed to do.
Did you have a developer account? You must have, right?
Yes. And because they deauthorized the account, also you couldn't log out because the logout endpoint said that you were no longer allowed to log out. So
wow.
Everything got stuck in a weird loop. And they were like, this shouldn't be happening. Like, it is happening.
As you pointed out, you had tens of thousands of dollars in app purchases, but probably if you're like us, over 30 years, many, many thousands of dollars in hardware that was suddenly, I mean, you can use it, can't you? You can use your Mac without being able to log into an account.
That's what they tell me. Whether that's true in practice, if you're already logged into an account that's then disabled, that does not quite seem to be the case.
What? You couldn't even use your Macs?
It kind of worked. So it just because the system was logged into something that was then barred rather than out of storage or, some other problem that your iCloud account can reasonably have, everything just freaked out constantly. You would open Pages, and because it would presumably try and read the iCloud container for where Pages stores things, the word processing out, it would freak out and not let you write a document. So
Holy
everything.
Cow. Oh. Unbelievable. So when we last left this story, you were just hanging in space. You had really escalated it. Jason, you said, well, the executive team's got to leap into action.
That's generally the same. I've had this happen, and I've seen this happen. That there's that secret team that's like bad publicity is happening. We need to get in there and fix this, whatever it is. And so I was optimistic that when the executive relations team got involved, that you would get taken care of eventually, although I think it does show maybe the level of dysfunction happening inside that it took as long as it did.
Oh, I would agree. I've had great success with that team in the past. Like, they've done absurd things for me, like refund a laptop 3 years after I purchased it because they decided something was wrong. And, or deal with all sorts of magic problems when it comes to like going to WWDC and flights got canceled. People fix things at Apple in my experience, which is why, despite what the Hacker News people and the comments on various articles would tell me, that's why I've been like a 30-year-long Apple user. They typically fix things and make things right in a reasonable process that you can understand. So this was my first experience where the initial contact with executive relations, which is not necessarily the easiest to get in contact with to begin with, unless you know that they exist, wasn't successful.
You knew enough to escalate all the way to executive.
I'd say also once this became a story and got passed around, that is when executive relations finds you.
Yeah.
Right?
Seriously.
Right. And I hated having to do that because it felt like, this is such a foolish thing to have to escalate and waste somebody's time for.
But your blog post of 10 days ago has the best meme of Darth Tim Apple. I am altering the terms. Pray I don't alter them any further.
Yeah, look, a friend of mine made that when I started talking about what had happened, like within the first 5 minutes of it happening on our friends group's Discord, and that was just the perfect image of the blog post.
It's awesome. That was on the 13th. The Register covered it a couple of days later. We covered it a couple of days after that. So what? I guess there's a lot of questions. First of all, how did they get a hold of you? How did they fix it?
A lovely gentleman at Executive Relations worked with me over a couple of days, kept saying he'll call me back in 2 to 3 hours, and then called me back to tell me that he was a little bit overeager with his 2 to 3 hours. So it actually took him about 3 or 4 days to seemingly figure out what had happened. And eventually he called me back and said everything's reactivated, and it wasn't. So we had a little bit of an argument, and he went away for another 24 hours and came back and said, actually, now it should be fixed. It looks like they had trouble. By reading between the lines, I would say they had trouble restoring it and didn't quite know what was going on.
That's what we kind of surmised, as you remember, when we talked about it last week, is that there's something wrong. The system overreacted and they didn't have an easy way to fix it.
Yes, that does seem to be the case.
Yeah. It's kind of amazing sometimes because this happens more frequently than you'd kind of like, that you get the sense, or even the company will actually outright state, we were not aware that such a thing was even possible, and we're as confused as you are at this point. This is not for lack of effort. This is for this is 1,000 people at the same time saying that, no, let's get Dave. Dave must know. Dave must know.
Somebody must know.
And Dave doesn't know. Oh, it's called Teresa. Maybe Teresa knows.
Did they ever explain what happened? Like how you got?
Look, they this is going to surprise you, I'm sure. Apple was very cagey about what was going on.
Yeah.
And didn't really want to admit anything or explain anything. And because I've been in orbit of this very strange company, as have you all, for many years, so I can kind of scry between the lines sometimes as to what's going on. And my analysis of reading between the lines of what was going on was that I bought a gift card that had presumably been part of some sort of gift card fraud where, people take it out at the shop, write down all the details, and then repeatedly try and activate it, which means they can catch it before you've activated it. So, when you check out with the receipt, that activates the card to be able to be activated. And then when you activate it again, it's fully activated and you've got the credit. So in between those last two activations, people steal gift cards and then use bots to spam Apple's activation servers so they can catch the moment when the card becomes usable and take the money before the person who actually purchased the card can redeem it. I've seen it happen to friends. I've heard about that happen many times. I think that's what happened here. And I think for whatever reason, it triggered a process on my account. It was like, this guy must have stolen the gift card. Mm-hmm. And went into nuclear mode. That's only a theory just based on little pieces Apple's trying to,
But once you get sucked into the maws, the gears of a giant corporation, they themselves don't exactly know how to extract you out of it.
No, exactly. Especially on frontline support, like the Apple kit.
Oh, they didn't know anything.
They were really trying to help to their credit, but everything, like the computer was clearly saying no to them at every point, and they didn't.
So that's to their credit. They didn't assume that you were in fact a bad guy trying to get in.
Most of them were like, "Oh, I'll have a look what I can do," and then come back for 15 minutes later with a very sorry, sir, but we can't help you. That account is locked down. Yeah,
and we can't tell you why, and we can't tell you anything else.
Yeah,
Paris, thank you so much for letting me jump you.
That's all right.
Thank you for putting on your holiday attire, his bah humbug hat.
standard Christmas hat every year.
I love Hobart. I love Tasmania. It was a very wonderful visit when I was there many years ago.
It's even better now.
I'm glad we saw you. Did we see you in Tasmania or Sydney?
You saw me in Tasmania. Yeah.
Nice.
A friend of mine bought like a photo of you in some Qantas pajamas.
Oh, yeah. He bought that, huh?
Yeah.
We did an auction to benefit the Tasmanian Devils, who I understand are actually much better.
That's going well. Yeah.
Yeah. They had a face cancer. And because they fight with each other, they would bite each other and then would spread the cancer, and they were about to die out. And,
there may be some progress in that. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently. So we were, we were down there. We thought we should do something nice. So I was there with a bunch of really talented photographers, and we had a gallery show and sold the prints. And I didn't know your friend had a picture of me in my jammies, but
it's one of his treasured possessions. Yeah.
I think that's a Mikkel Oland picture. I think he took.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, it's such a pleasure to talk to you. Paris's blog is hey.paris. He's actually an amazing fellow. I mean, he's got a law degree, history major, trained engineer. He founded a game studio, worked at Meebo, which was acquired by Google, has written books, hosts a radio show on space news. You are a multi-talented.
I just can't pick a hobby.
I'm so sorry that this happened to you, and I'm so glad it worked out.
So am I.
And I'm glad we could get you up early in the morning.
That's so good. I get up pretty early.
I'm thrilled that we could talk to you. Thank you so much, Paris. Thank you for being a club member and for listening. You said since episode 1.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really great. Thank you, Paris.
Take care, folks.
Thanks, Dr. Paris Butfield Addison. All is well. He's at Dr. Paris in our club if you want to say hi and congratulate him. We're going to take a little break and come back. This has been a very odd show to begin with, but now it's going to come back to normal. We actually have some Apple news we can talk about. You're watching MacBreak Weekly with Jason Snell, Andy Anako, and the late Alex Lindsay. not dead yet.
Rest in Cupertino.
No, in fact, he's going to be more alive than ever. More alive than ever. Our show today brought to you by this little thing. Is it too late for, man, this would be such a great gift for somebody. This is, I'll take the stand off. It's nice. It's easy to take off. It's a little magnetic stand. But this hangs on the wall in landscape or portrait mode. And it's what is Leo selling a picture frame for? Well, this is not just any old picture frame. By the way, there I am after my first haircut. This is the amazing Aura Ink. You may know Aura Frames, consistently named the best digital frame company. I think partly because of their software, their apps, their hardware. But this thing puts them over the top. Meet Ink, Aura's first ever cordless color e-paper frame, featuring a sleek 0.6-inch profile and a softly lit 13.3-inch display. Ink feels like a print. It functions like a digital frame, and perhaps most importantly, lives completely untethered by cords. With a rechargeable battery that lasts up to 3 months on a single charge, unlimited storage, and the ability to invite others to add photos via the Aura Frames app. It's the cordless wall-hanging frame you've been waiting for. Now, I've set it to change every night, which I kind of like. One of the things I've noticed, you probably noticed too, is we have all these great photos. I have 60,000 digital photos. We never see them because they're on a hard drive. Wouldn't it be nice to have some way you could put them on the wall without adding another digital screen, without adding a computer to your life? That's what this is. And man, if they put some engineering into it, this is a real breakthrough in e-paper technology. If you've ever seen e-paper, even color e-paper before, and you're looking at this, you might go, that can't be e-paper. They have engineered a way. They have a custom dithering algorithm. They've transformed millions of tiny ink capsules into your favorite photos. rendering them in kind of vintage tones. This is exactly what the photo would look like if I printed it and hung it on the wall. Baby's first haircut. You know what? Why it's on here? I'm loading this up with pictures for my mom. It's a really great way. Mom's older and a little bit of Alzheimer's, and so she likes to see these pictures from, when I was a kid, when my sister was a kid. She immediately recognizes everything, knows the day, the date, the time, exactly how it felt, what was going on. So it's really great for her memory. And I love the ability to actually upload more pictures to this at any time. So you can do it. You can change it every 2 hours if you want. I think it's kind of nice to spend a day with a picture. So you just, really get to enjoy the picture. I'll change it though. Put another picture on here so you can see what another one looks like. There's little buttons on the top that let you change it manually. You also can change it directly from the app. They've just added a new feature. You can text message. This is another reason why I can't wait to give this to Mom, because when we're sitting around the tree or celebrating at a dinner or whatever, I could take a picture with my phone and immediately text it to her so she could be part of the party. This is Calm Tech certified. Ink is recognized by the Calm Tech Institute as a product designed to minimize digital noise and distraction. The intelligent lighting is subtle. It automatically adjusts throughout the day. It's never obviously lit, right? And it turns off at night. So it doesn't glow in the dark or anything like that. It's not like a digital screen. Oh, this is kind of fun. It's great for photos, but also for artwork. This is a watercolor of my son, Salt Hank, and his sister at a book signing that he did. I love that. They look so good. With its cordless design, ultra-thin profile, softly lit display, and paper-textured matting, Ink looks like a classic frame, not a piece of tech. See for yourself at auraframes.com/ink. Oh, and support the show by mentioning us at checkout. That's auraframes.com/ink. I just think this is a great way to showcase your photos, and what a great gift it would be. I think it's probably too late to get it for Christmas. It's only 2 days away. Here's a picture of our kitty cat. Actually, this is a good example because she's black at night. She's dark black. And you can see how well the dithering does, even with the solid shades of black. This is really a wonderful technology. auraframes.com/ink. Thank you, Aura, for solving my Christmas shopping for this year. And for the rest of you, well, you could get it for Lincoln's birthday, something like that. On we go with the show. Speaking of Australia, Apple has received clearance to activate the hypertension detection on its watches in Australia. This is our international news block.
Good. Yeah, that's a feature that there was actually a study just last month that demonstrated exactly how effective it is. That it's very conservative, but if it does flag hypertension, the people who go in to have it checked almost inevitably have it confirmed by actual doctors. So another big win for Apple Watch.
Yeah. A little bit of a loss for Apple in Brazil. Apple has agreed to third-party app store alternatives on the iPhone in Brazil. Regulators, of course, in Brazil, like many other places, demanded it. We mentioned last week Japan.
Yep, but that went active just a few days ago, wasn't it? There was a post on the Apple newsroom about it. There's, of course, you don't know it's official until Tim Sweeney does a tweet that says that Apple isn't obeying the terms and the honor of and there are like 20. There's like a 20% fee that there is a large fee associated with it, but it doesn't seem as though it's crazy stupid high. I mean, I think we all agree that Apple should make something. Should share in the profits that are made from app distribution, because although they would very much like there to be they give you no alternative but to use Xcode. The fact is they do give you Xcode and they do give you all these APIs.
Okay,
but it seems to be going okay.
It's a crack. It's a chink in the armor. It's slowly moving in that direction. This is a 3-year deal. It doesn't go into effect for half a year. So, it's going to be a little while.
But it is inevitable. I really think that inside Apple, there's the assumption that the entire world will have some sort of app store restrictions that they're just going to have to deal with, and that they're no longer in a world in which they can continue to sort of try to stop this from happening. So they may as well get ready for it, be ready for it, and create a world in which this will be as less damaging to the company and its users as possible. For instance, the Japan version of this law is a little bit different because it doesn't require Apple to allow app stores to install apps via websites, stuff like that. Little things that Apple would want to fight on. It's like, okay, I think they themselves have said that this is not as bad as it could possibly be, although we don't like any of this.
Yeah.
Have the European versions been successful at all? Like, I mean, are the separate apps?
It's funny. We were talking about this last week without you, Alex, and people were saying, I wish Alex were here to defend Apple, to say how bad this is for users.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't know how if it's really worked. I mean, without the U.S. market, I think that it's probably not as successful.
Do you think at some point Apple will be compelled though to do it in the U.S.? I mean, that it's just this is the dominoes, or do you think they'll hold strong?
I mean, I still think that that at least in the United States, I think that there's still some paying attention to some version of, is it truly a monopoly if you have less than a really decisive size of the phone market? And so I think that makes it a little bit more of an uphill battle. I think that the other countries have been much more loose about how they define that. So I don't know if I just don't know if it would make it through the courts, in the current structure that they are, even if they did it. And I don't think the problem with the United States is there's no user, none of the users care. And so they don't care about, not a significant number of them care about this. And so in the United States, the representatives they do pay attention to them, but the strong driver in these other countries have been local app developers, large ones that want to change the structure of what this looks like. And so they're lobbying heavily in their home countries, Spotify in Europe and so on and so forth. And so I don't think that, I just don't think that there's any groundswell for that in the United States. So I don't know if it's going to happen anytime. I mean, Tim Sweeney's doing the best he can.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
there is a class action suit over this. And while the court had decertified the class on Thursday, the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said, we're going to review that decision. We may allow the class. So somebody, maybe it's just a bunch of lawyers deciding, hey, we can make some money on this.
Well, it just has a long time to go through the courts. So it's going to take some time to kind of wind its way, through. So it's still probably years away. So I think that, but I just don't know if there's as much hunger in the United States to do it. And without the U.S. market, I don't understand how much.
Is it developers though that might want this? I mean, aren't developers somewhat
developers
unhappy?
Are customers too? Yeah.
Well, I just don't know how many customers really care. I mean, I think most Apple users just want it to work. Like they just want it to open up and do the thing. They don't really care about whether they're not going to go through the trouble. And that's what they found with Google. Is not that many people are going through the third party anyway. And then on the on the developer side, we have to remember that 98% of the developers are not paying 30%. So 98 it's 2% of the developers, the rich ones, are the ones that are upset about the current structure. The rest of them are getting a pretty good deal, and I think it's something like almost 90% aren't charging anything out of the gate. Like these are, relatively a small number of people small number of developers that are worried about it.
I just always felt that just in principle, it's better to be a little bit more open than totally closed. And the other thing is that as we're seeing more and more governments try to basically put control over free speech and privacy by saying, hey, all we have to do to get this app we don't like out there is to put pressure on two multi-trillion-dollar companies that probably can be easily pressured because they have deals with our government. If we just pinch off those 2 points, then we can actually make sure that this app that we don't like will not exist. Simply.
That's what Cory Doctorow says. He calls it the Mad King's kill switch.
Yeah, exactly. So for that reason, I also think it's kind of important for them to be alternatives for sideloading. And you're absolutely right. I mean, sideloading apps on Android is more of less of a necessity and more of part of the overall Android philosophy of you should have complete control and complete choice over what happens on your phone, which they implement in a scattershot sort of way.
Well,
but that is the core philosophy.
That's actually a good example, though, of consumers really rebelling. Because remember, Google was going to make that very hard. They were going to force anybody who developed for Android to be officially authorized by Google and identified. And users and developers revolted, and Google backed down.
Yeah,
so
it's a different. But I think
it's a different world,
a different set of consumers too. Like, I mean, a person who buys an Android phone is not the same as the person who buys an iPhone, in my opinion. Like, they're just, and it's not. There's no like better Andy, or worse. No, I'm just saying that if you're buying an Android phone, you tend to be a little geekier. You tend to want to tweak things a little bit more. You tend to want to be on the, like to push the envelope. People who buy iPhones just want it to work. Like, they just want it to open up, and you can see the big pushback, just the change in the interface. People are like, and I'm included, are like, this. If I wanted an Android, I'd buy one. Like all the complexity that's being added just to the current operating system. So I think that there's a much more resistance by the. So I don't think you can say, well, Google did it, and I just don't know if iPhone users in mass will do that much. That makes it, and what they'll get upset about is if the store ever becomes opened in the United States, and Netflix says we're only going to use a third-party app to do this because they don't want to pay, they don't want to pay for it. That's forcing the users to go into an outside store to get something that they want, and then they'll be upset. And then they'll wish they had never done this. And that's the end goal. That's where this ends up. If you have large companies who don't want to pay the Apple tax, wanting to go to the outside, and that would be reducing user choice, because most users, I would argue 90 to 95% of the users, don't want anything other than the App Store. They just want it to be safe. They want it to be controlled. They want to, I just finished getting my app because we're running out of time. I released my app over the weekend.
You had to, didn't you?
Broadboard. So got that done. And
what's the name of that?
It's called Broadboard. Broadboard.app. And it's this thing that people see me do, this telestration app. So I've been working on it with a programmer I've been working on it for 10 years. The programmer's been working on it for about the last 3 years, I think 4 years. And we've been noodling with it. And, it is, it's been this slow thing, like, and finally we just had to, like, pencils down, release the app. And it runs on iPad and it runs on the iPad and the Mac. And if you buy it, it's all the things that I like about apps, which is that number one is there's no interface. Number two, it really is all the little bits and pieces that I needed for a Telestrator app. And then also it is, if you buy it, there's no subscription. It's $9.99 to start and $14.99 when I think next month or whatever. And it runs, if you buy it, it runs on both the iPad and the Mac OS at the same time, but they're not a copy. The iPad is all gesture based, and the Mac version is all pen based and keystroke based. So it's it'll look very weird when you open it because there's no interface. In fact, that took a little time in the App Store to figure out, so to get it accepted. But it is completely interface free, but it's designed to work with your Stream Deck, or it's designed to work with your gestures. If you just want to have a whiteboard, that's why it's Broadboard, is because it's a board with broad opportunities, options. But you can all of this stuff can be gesture based.
I should get that. That's
the
cool.
idea is that you can mirror your iPad and then just be drawing with your finger or your pen, but just using gestures, change the color, change the thickness, but you never have to have a interface pop up. It's all
right.
It's all perfect. It takes a little bit to learn the gestures. But
how do you combine your video with it?
So for some people, they won't need to. It's just a whiteboard. Like it can be just a whiteboard that is. So you could just make.
But I want to do what you're doing. I want to be John.
What I do with it is, one of the goals.
I want the Madden Telestrator.
I have to admit that one of the goals that I had was that there was a piece of hardware. I can't remember who made it. That was about $1,200, and I was like, I want to make sure that the package costs less than that. So you could just build your own package that does that. So what I have is I have a Mac Mini, and then I have a Wacom tablet. This is just a Wacom one. It's Wacom, by the way. It's like water. I did ask them to. I keep
Wacom. I always say Wacom.
And yeah, no, I do too.
Wacom.
I did. And then I have an ATEM. So this is the ATEM. This is the Mac. And this is the Wacom.
Could I use the iPad instead of a Wacom?
You could, except it doesn't do the compositing for you. So
that's what. So
what the trick here is that the Mac, the Wacom tablet has a USB and it has an HDMI in because it's a screen. I see the screen here.
Oh.
And so it's got an HDMI in. So I take. Oh. So what I do is I have the USB from the Wacom tablet go into the Mac.
So you're looking at yourself as you're drawing that. You're seeing yourself behind
my
it.
Eyes here and everything else. And so the
that's what you need. Yeah.
Yeah. So the USB from the Wacom goes into the Mac like it would normally. The trick is that the HDMI of the Mac goes out into the ATEM. So it feeds.
So the Mac
ATEM
sees it as a video source as well as a USB.
Yeah. And then one of the outputs of the ATEM goes to where usually you would have the HDMI between the Wacom and the Mac, but instead I go through the ATEM and send that signal back to the Wacom tablet. Yeah. And then now I just use a Luma key in the ATEM and just key it. So it's just,
I guess I could do that. I just have to get that Wacom. Wacom thing.
But Alex, what if there were like a bunny rabbit as part of the workflow? What would that look like?
Yeah, exactly. So
wearing a magician's hat.
We would have the Wacom tablet here, and then we would have the Buninator right here.
The Buninator.
Now that's clear.
Yeah, and it would get the bunny to hop, leaving footprints. For that. Yeah.
So which Wacom do I want? The Wacom one.
The Wacom one is all you need.
Okay. Where creative dreams begin, I see.
It's where they begin. Yeah, exactly. Yes. and I've used them with for the most of the time.
So this is kind of like a Cintiq.
It is a Cintiq. It's just a lot less expensive.
Yeah.
So Wacom, I think, was getting a lot of pressure from the Chinese manufacturers that are all in the $300 range, and Wacom only had a video thing at $600 or $700. Their smaller one, and so they opened this one up. It doesn't have as many buttons, and I don't need any of those.
It's $300, which is a lot cheaper than a Cintiq.
Right. So the whole thing is that you have a Mac Mini. It can be literally you could buy a used M1 Mac Mini, off of wherever for $300 or $400. But M4 is probably the entry level Mac Mini. And then you have an A10, which is $300.
Berg is telling me not to buy it. Is it because it will be so complicated that it will screw up our setup? Probably that's why he's saying. But I would like to be able to just draw on the screen.
It's super, like once you're used to, everybody that I know that has gone through the trouble of doing it, once you get used to being able to describe things and do that kind of thing, it gets pretty addicting.
I mean, if it's helpful, you still have a 2-week window in which you can hire Alex as a consultant to help you actually install this and get it running.
And Leo, if you get the stuff before the end of the year, I'll come up to the house. And
this studio would not exist without Alex's expertise, I must say. The cameras, everything. Thanks to Alex.
I'm happy to come up to the house and get you all set up.
Thank you.
So I'm using the lights you recommended. I'm using the microphone you recommended. I've got settings on my Mac that you recommended.
Both Burke and Jammer B are now saying, "Don't, Leo."
It's going to be so great. It's going to be so
great. Just to follow up on Dr. Paris, who is in our Discord chatting away. I didn't realize this. He is also a ham. Now we really know he's a geek. But okay, get this. Because his ham ID is VK7 SYN, SYN, and his wife's is VK7 ACK, ACK. So if you're a geek, you know. If you know, you know. That is as geeky as you can get. His and her vanity ham radio IDs that duplicate the handshake between browsers and the outside world. TCP handshake.
By the way, the last thing I just wanted to say is that I can't have an app and I can't have an app and be on Apple at the same time. So you'll see that it's produced by Juan C. Robles, who is the programmer that I've been working with.
Alex knows nothing about this.
Proceeds, the half of the proceeds of this go to office hours. so that's
even better.
They'll be donated to office hours. So if you buy it, you're helping to support.
Come to think of it, this app is to office hours what the Keynote app was to Steve Jobs' Keynote. It was like it was in development in live fire exercises for years before it was announced and released as an actual product.
Yeah, you'll look at it and go, why did Alex need that? Because really, everything right now is, why did Alex think that was important? so because it's definitely my little app. So anyway, and Juan has been amazing to putting
yes.
together.
Who's this Alex Lindsay? We don't know him.
Exactly.
I don't know. Who is he?
Yeah, exactly. Why is he sending everybody to my app? Yeah,
don't have anything to do with it. You're watching MacBreak Weekly with Alex, his last episode after 20 years. Yikes. Jason Snell will be here for another 20 years, I pray. I hope. Sorry, it's your sentence.
All right.
And Andy Anako, I want 30 from, my friend, 30 years. We're so glad to have you.
Do I get like a commemorative envelope, letter opener or something? My dad worked for the same company, the same huge engineering company for 40 years, his entire career. And so when we're cleaning out the house, it's like, oh, this is what he got for 10 years, this is what he got for 25 years. And there were other things too, but this was the thing that came out of the company, no, this is what everybody gets at 20 years. So that's why I was saying a letter opener with the Twit logo and 23 and a half years written on it.
Dr. Perez, because he's from Australia, says you should get a long service beer boot. I don't think drinks beer. I
don't drink beer, but I've got Coke. I've got liquids that I could enjoy a beer quantity, a boot quantity of Dr. Pepper, or
delicious.
Yeah. Those who know Andy know that when he goes to a restaurant, he orders a Coke in the largest liquid container they have. So a boot would work.
A Coke boot. Hey everybody, Leo Laporte here with a little bit of an ask. Every year at this time, we'd like to survey our audience to find a little bit more about you. As you may know, we respect your privacy. We don't do anything. In fact, we can't do anything to learn about who you are. And that's fine with me. I like that. But it helps us with advertising. It helps us with programming to know a little bit about those of you who are willing to tell us. Your privacy is absolutely respected. We do get your email address, but that's just in case there's an issue. We don't share that with anybody. What we do share is the aggregate information that we get from these surveys. Things like 80% of our audience buys something they heard in an ad on our shows, or 75% of our audience are IT decision makers. Things like that are very helpful with us when we talk to advertisers. They're also very helpful to us to understand what operating systems you use, what content you're interested in. So, enough. Let me just ask you, if you will, go to twit.tv/survey26 and answer a few questions. It should only take you a few minutes of your time. We do this every year. It's very helpful to us. Your privacy is assured, I promise you. And of course, if you're uncomfortable with any question or you don't want to do it at all, that's fine too. But if you want to help us out a little bit, twit.tv/survey26. Thank you so much. And now, back to the show. All right, more MacBreak Weekly. Let's see here. There's not a lot. One of the reasons we're kind of filling is there's not a lot of news, of course, because Apple's probably been closed for the week. Do they close the whole week of Christmas? Do you know anybody? I imagine so.
I think they go from Christmas to New Year's closed.
Didn't we just say that 26.2 was that's it? We're going on vacation version of iOS? 26.3 is coming. In fact, another concession Apple's making to the EU, it's going to introduce that really nice feature of proximity pairing to third-party devices in the EU only. Although, Apple, come on, you're doing it in the EU, just do it for everybody, right?
Yeah. And the EU kind of had a little bit of a victory lap there. They had their own little press release, pointing out all the features of 26.3, again, being able to show notifications on non-Apple watches, and this other feature. And I think there was a third one about how, this is why we're making this is why the Digital Markets Act and all the other regulations are not a colossal pain in the butt we're slightly regretting, but we're kind of committed to sticking through because we are convinced that it is going to lead to good things. Hey, look, here's some things that would not have happened if not for the fact that
this is better than the cookie banner. I think we'll all agree. Although I have to say, my HomePod, both Lisa and I, for no apparent reason, just got asked to rejoin our HomePod. There, you're near a HomePod. You want to? I did that when I got it. Why are you doing that again? Maybe there was a firmware update. It's one of the things I don't like is and we were talking about it before the show began. Google makes you re-authenticate every week, right when the show starts, because it's exactly a week. I don't like all this re-authentication. I guess it's for security, but who's gonna hijack my HomePod?
Well, I don't know. It's isn't that the constant tension between convenience and security, where it's like, why do I need to re-authenticate? But there's somebody who does nothing but like work in this field like for 30 years. Say, here. The worst case scenario is really freaking
you have
bad,
to consider
and that's
your
why we're
threat
making
model. What is the worst case scenario? That I'm going to have to hear Milli Vanilli on my HomePod sometime in the middle of the night? I mean, is that what we're worried about? I guess it is.
Girl, you know it's true. Was the song of the summer before the fraud came out. So
let's just blame it on the rain then.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the beta or it's something else, but twice in the last week, I've had my phone just start playing music. Have any of you had
I don't like that.
It is just random, like I'm like looking at someone going, why is your phone making noise? And they're like, it's your phone.
What?
Like, why is it doing this? And I did hit any buttons that I knew of. It's like I guess Siri or something, but it's been brand new. It's never happened, and then in the last week it's happened twice.
So that HomePod pop-up is an example of proximity pairing. You've no doubt seen it if you have AirPods. When you open your case for the first time, it goes, "Oh, hello," and so that's a nice feature. I think Google now emulates that on Android, don't they, Andy? I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Stealing it, if you will. Borrowing it. It's an homage.
It's it's like there are these two hoppers. They keep stealing from each other. Like, okay, we gave you a good way to do notifications. We get to take this from you too without having to apologize.
Yes. Incidentally, if you are panicky because you missed buying something for a loved one for the holidays, Apple is offering 2-hour delivery right now. Right now. If you hurry, I bet it's for the last minute shoppers.
I have to say the delivery from Apple is crazy. I mean, I order from Corte Madera. It would take me longer to drive. And I pay.
Somebody drives up and gives it. Is it an Apple employee?
They do it through Uber.
It's like DoorDash or something. It's a third party.
But it's always someone who's like on their, like, you can tell that somebody talked to them from Apple. There's like this level of service that's
it's a little bit better. Yeah.
Don't so it's,
do not ask to use the bathroom. Apple, you're representing Apple, and Apple does not need to use the customer's bathroom.
There's definitely a tightness there that you don't see with a lot of the other delivery folks that are dropping by that just feels like Apple. But it's definitely not part of Apple to do that. But but yeah, it would take me longer to drive to Corte Madera and back than to just order it from Apple and have it show up at my house. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I did that Costco. I accidentally clicked on, they have one of the big box stores has a sameday.costco.com, which I accidentally clicked on, and I bought something as a holiday gift, and they said it'll be there in an hour. I went, wait a minute, I'm not even home. What are you doing? What? It's actually had to come home.
Just a little observation. I every once in a while I need something from Whole Foods, but the problem with Whole Foods is every time it says you want to deliver, it says, you have to sign off like we can replace what you asked for with something else that's like it. And I was
I hate that.
And I'm just like, okay.
Tomatoes and apples, not the same. Yeah, they're both fruit, but
I just don't, because I'm like, okay, you're going to replace whatever I ordered with a 365 version of that. And
that's what they do, isn't it?
That's what they do. And so
that's exactly what they do.
I don't want to play. A little rat hole there for you.
So this is, if you're going to do it now, because this offer will not last the day, I think. It's so last minute shoppers. 2-hour delivery. You probably have to be in proximity to a Apple store. I mean, it's not
probably
at least within 2 hours
someone
drive.
Should call, someone should call from Montana, like middle of Montana.
See what happens.
Yeah.
I'm on the 81st floor. The elevator is out.
It'd be a great video for a helicopter to come land and hand somebody their iPad.
Someone ziplining from the roof, crashing through the window.
There was an
handing you over an Apple Watch band
here that was missed.
Today we're supposed to hear from the feds whether the DJI drones are banned, which could be a big deal.
Yeah.
I just did a drone shoot last week.
And of course you use DJI because everybody does.
Did an Inspire 3, which is, so there was one person flying the drone and I was operating the camera, and DJI is just so far ahead of everybody else, and no one's going to catch up anytime soon. So they're basically just kneecapping all these drone operators, and a lot of it has to do with just the backup here. Not to get political, but Donald Trump Jr. got on a advisory board for an American drone company in November of 2024.
Interesting.
And this law passed December of 2024. Yeah. Talk about fast service. You know, like so this is all about, and it's called.
But we don't have the capability in the United States of building anything nearly as good, right?
Not anytime soon. I mean, there's so much knowledge. You know, the problem is that DJI has so many drones and so much data and so much experience that to catch up with this, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to kneecap them so that this Unusual Things, I think is the name of the company, can have some chance of catching up, because there's no way that anyone could catch up if the United States didn't kneecap them, you know. And the danger for this, you know, evil company is that the danger for them is that the process will go down the path. Everybody in the drone world knows who they are. They hate them. Like, so they're going into a market now. They've created a situation where that everyone is going to pile on as soon as they release their drones, you know, and so they're going to, hey, we got a new product, and they're going to be like, don't buy that product, you know, because they ruined everything for everyone, you know, and it really is all their fault, you know, and so it's just dirty dealing, you know. What's her name, Stefanik or whatever. Hopefully the door doesn't hit her, but you know, like hopefully Stefanik. We never get to see her again.
Yeah, she's decided not to run.
But again. she was the hand for Donald Trump Jr.'s you know, push to do this, and it's just dirty pool, you know. And so anyway, so that's the backstory for how this happened, and it's just really inexcusable, and it's just such a thriving industry, and it's just magical. Like I did a 3-minute oneer, you know, for the show last week. And it's just such an incredible experience to be able to do that, and knowing that this is the best it's going to get, because we can't have the Inspire 4 and we can't have the other ones. Now, I don't think it blocks DJI from the Ronin 40, which if you, there is an incredible video from F1 about with the cinematographer about the behind the scenes, and the Ronin 40, which is it's what we call the chicken head. They took all the drone stuff that they had learned and stuck it into a handheld camera, and it's probably the best camera out there.
Oh, that was used on F1, but it's not a flying.
It's not a drone. It's not a drone. It's a handheld. So I don't think that it blocks anything there. So DJI, and what's crazy is that you can. What's crazy is,
so is it just is it just stabilizing it? What is it?
Here's what's magical about it is that it has a gimbal, which is what DJI was already doing, the Ronin line, but it gave it a Z-axis stabilization. So it's got an arm that bounces up and down. So as you're walking, it bounces.
So it's a steady cam without all of the gyroscopes.
It's a steady. It has all the gyroscopes, and it has to keep it there. But what it doesn't have is, it's not a traditional steady cam with the big vest and the arm.
Yeah, your brother wears those, and you got to be strong to lift.
Well, yeah, and he has a very complicated one, which is the only steady cam. Once you put, I was talking to a camera operator, Brent By. I was talking to Brent about this. Yeah. No, so Brent is my Ronin 40 operator. So when I do Ronin 40s, I get Brent to come up or wherever we're going, Brent runs.
He has a pretty steady hand without a steady cam.
He's one of the best camera operators I've ever worked with. So Brent already
can
is
walk
amazing.
Backwards.
I mean, walk backwards, changing the aperture and the focus while walking back.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's good.
But when we put him on an easy rig, so an easy rig is a big vest that goes over your head, and then you hang the 40 from it. You know, that means he can go for hours, and he can do shots that only my brother's rig can do more. Like the only Steadicam that can compete with an easy rig with a Ronin 40 is
the Ronin 40 cheap?
It's the base unit is about $7,000 to get to be able to capture. If you want to do wireless transmission, it's another couple $1,000.
A little expensive.
They're a little expensive, but I mean, when you think about cameras and so on, it's
not
a full frame
major
sensor.
Motion picture. I mean,
well, and they use 4 of them for F1, and they just said there was no way to do that. You couldn't have big camera crews in front of huge crowds.
Right.
So this camera just kind of blended into
because they're shooting it in the actual F1 races. A lot of the footage.
Yeah, and they can put it in places they couldn't do otherwise. And so anyway, so DJI has got other things that they work. They get the rest of the world buying everything that they're doing. The chances of a U.S. company actually succeeding at this, it's probably a dead end, especially for the company that did this, but that's why it's happening. Just so if people are wondering like why, and they talked about it for a long time, like drones and everything else. But from a military perspective, the world has changed so much since 2022 that whatever DJI is doing with camera drones has nothing to do with what the Ukrainians have figured out how to do with drones.
I think they're worried about, bizarrely, the pictures being sent back from the drone to China or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
And anyway, the FCC has in fact added all foreign-made drones and critical components to its covered list.
Yeah, and just to be clear, they're not worried about anything. They're using it as an excuse. I don't want to
promote American.
They're using it as an excuse to protect a weak, underdeveloped, unmanageable American industry that's never going to succeed. And they're using this as an excuse to do it, and it's inexcusable.
So if you have a DJI drone, as I do, as many of you do, probably everybody has one or two, don't worry, you can still fly it. You can even buy accessories. The rules are the same. But, and in fact, at some point, the Department of Defense could decide, or the Department of Homeland Security, that a specific drone or class of drones does not pose an unacceptable risk and you could buy it.
Some of the folks
as of right now, you cannot buy any foreign-made drones in the United States, period.
Is it any foreign-made or just DJI? I'm not sure.
I think it's any. This looks like foreign-made drones and critical components.
What's incredible is that the DJI has been unable to maintain supply for the last 4 months because so many people are buying.
They knew this was coming.
This is like when they say they're going to outlaw guns and suddenly everyone buys a lot of guns.
Right.
I mean, the industry has stocked as deep as they possibly could to buy as many of these as they possibly can. They can continue to sell that. You can continue to buy them in retail until they run out. But most retail outlets have already run out because everyone that I know that works with drones has bought 2 or 3 extras just to make sure, because now that they crash, they can't buy another one. And,
this is
that kind of thing.
DJI. It's also Hotel. It's all overseas manufacturers are now on the covered list, which is, if it's one thing if you said, all the Chinese companies, but it's all anything not made in the U.S. It's clearly anti-competitive.
It's anti-competitive, and it's not going to work.
Well, it's going to harm the motion picture industry. Yeah.
It's going to harm a lot of people. It's not just the motion picture industry. It's the construction industry. It's the agriculture industry. There's so many things that are dependent on drones at this point. And I get that the American makers, I just feel like they should compete fair and square, and figure out how to actually, but instead of actually innovating, they've just used leverage, which is just totally unacceptable.
It was based on an executive order from the Trump White House, restoring American airspace sovereignty and unleashing American drone dominance.
Airspace, God damn it!
I think the technical term for that is. This is my last show, so I can be.
You can be honest.
The technical term for that is jackassery.
Yeah,
So it's just it's just.
That's really kind of shocking.
It's just so.
But there've been so many shocking things. It's hard. I'm starting to get a little rug burn on this.
Yeah, it's just one more example.
It's just one more thing.
Yeah. So anyway.
RDMA over Thunderbolt 5. This is a Jeff Geerling piece that Andy says is interesting. He actually, more and more people are doing this in order to run local AI. It turns out Mac Minis are great, or studios, if you stack them.
Yeah, and they enable this in 26.2 that you can connect a little cluster of Mac Minis using Thunderbolt. And remember, the Mac Mini, you can get the M3 Ultra, which has an enormous number of GPU cores, and then you can put 4 of them together and connect them all over independent Thunderbolt channels, and you can create a cluster. And this is where Apple has an advantage with Apple Silicon and stuff like this, is it can compete. This is the area where Apple's hardware allows it to kind of compete in an interesting way. So, of course, Apple's making kind of interesting claims about this, and I saw this go by, and we may have even mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but Apple PR did the right thing. They sent somebody all the systems and said, "Can you try this out?" And it's pretty cool.
$40,000 worth of of hardware.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden, one day in my YouTube feed, like there were at least 3 or 4 different tech sites that had, hey, wow, I just used $50,000 worth of Mac Studios, and a stack of 4 of them. It's like, wow. Another one, hey, I just got $50,000. Okay. Yep. I don't think that these 4 people got the same idea at the same time and also found $50,000 in which to buy this sort of thing. But it does show, like, how else are you going to show off something that is kind of esoteric and very, very techy? I mean, this is something that is only of interest to AI developers, to people who need to run local models without having to trust
more of us want to do that. Not very few of us have that kind of money. One of the reasons people do want to run local models is it's cheaper. Well, theoretically, could be cheaper than paying $200 a month for the pro versions of Claude Code or Codex or anti-gravity. I mean, this is really, it's often it's coders. It's people want to. That's why I bought a $3,000 framework desktop with 128 gigs of RAM, so I could run local models, and it actually is pretty credible. It would be even better if I had 4 Mac Studios maxed out with RAM, but 128 gigs is a decent amount, and because it is unified RAM using AMD's Strix Halo, a very fast processor. I think more and more people want to do that. Nobody's going to do it. Not nobody. Normal people aren't going to do it for $50,000, but I think more and more people want to. And I think this is a very good place for Apple to focus.
You
can do it quite a bit, even with just a high RAM Mac Mini.
Yeah, again, especially when you set them up as a cluster, they're basically making the statement that, like, Macs don't necessarily, the Mac ecosystem does not necessarily need NVIDIA in order to do the level of AI that a lot of people actually want to do. Both researchers and people who are creating actual, like, services and applications through it. That part of it is that they want to use their own models. They want to use those models without the guardrails that are on the commercial versions of some of these things, and also just have that level of control. I mean, it is the thing is, like, I'm glad to see Apple messaging like this, because I think we talked about this a week ago or 2 weeks ago about how Apple seems to be content to realize that, well, there was a time when we still needed to have something we could call a Mac Pro that was a tower that had slots, that we could have the poster that says, this is the most powerful workstation you can buy today for any amount of money, and it's a lot less money than you would pay elsewhere. They're more focused on, no, here are some specific, we know who our customer is, and our customer is not buying a big box you fill with cards. They still, however, have an immense amount of performance in Apple Silicon, and this is a way to show off that, no, we're not just for people who are doing fields of daisies and animated products traipsing through the field of daisies. This is actually potentially one of the most hardcore setups you can possibly put together, and it has an Apple logo on it.
Apple has its hardware strategy, right? And it's chosen this path with Apple Silicon, and it knows what it's doing. And unlike a lot of parts of the tech industry that are sort of chasing the dream, the ideal of GPU performance and all of that, like, Apple's not going to do that. Apple is chasing GPU performance, but not just for kind of AI purposes. They're doing it for products that they sell, including Macs and iPhones and all of that. However, they are going to press the advantages that they do see that they have. And this is an example of that. On-device, fast clusters of Macs, all of those things are things that the Apple Silicon strategy fits with. So that's what they're going to promote.
And this is not just for AI stuff. I mean, for rendering, a lot of us render a lot of things that take a long time. Right now, when I render immersive footage, oftentimes it's measured in days.
Yeah. So this is using XGrid, which was built for rendering, right? It wasn't built for AI. It was built for rendering.
Right. So I think that there's, so this, being able to have 4 really beefy computers, and for filmmakers and so on and so forth, I think it's solving a problem that in some cases I've had to move to PCs and Linux boxes because I just needed I needed more power than any single Mac could give me. And so this is a real opportunity.
You're watching MacBreak Weekly, the last episode of 2025. Next week will be our best of. Lots of moments from the year, some of the best moments from the year, and we'll be reassembled back here in 2026, January 6th, I think, then 2 weeks from today. And we will be down a person, but Shelley Brisbane will be filling in, which is wonderful. We love having her on, and we look forward to having you. We really want to thank our club members who make this show possible. This would be a good time because you've got 2 more days to take advantage of our 10% off coupon for annual memberships to go to twit.tv/clubtwit. What do you get? Ad-free versions of all the shows, access to the Club Twit Discord, or as I like to think of it, the Club Twit Disco, where the coolest people in the world hit the dance floor in their white jeans and dance the night away. Well, no, there's not a lot of dancing in the Club Twit Discord, but there is a lot of fun and some great conversations. And not, by the way, just about the shows, although there is live chat about the shows during the shows, but also about everything geeks are interested in. It is a bunch of really smart, cool people. But the most important reason for the club is it keeps us afloat. Without you, we would have to cut back. 25% of our operating costs come from the club. I'd like to make that higher. I would love to just, not have to worry about advertising and just say, hey, you guys, this is for you. So that could happen. Twit.tv/clubtwit, but it's going to take every one of us. So if you're not a member, take advantage of our holiday special and join right now. Twit.tv/clubtwit. Italy. Oh, Italy. Oh, Italy. They're a little bit angry over app tracking transparency. Apple has fined Apple $115 million because they say that's the checkbox that says, don't track me, bro. They say it's anti-competitive. The Italian regulators,
again, this is
Autorità Garante della Correzione del Mercato, say that Apple uses, quote, its absolute dominance in its dealings with developers to require them to comply with app tracking transparency. Here's maybe the hook, while Apple itself does not.
Which again shows you that they don't understand how this works.
Yeah.
Old people with old ideas.
Apple says, we strongly disagree.
Yeah, I mean,
consumers disagree. Consumers love ATT.
Yeah, and they just don't understand the difference between first person and third person.
Every first party has access to information that third parties do not.
Sure.
And Apple, I guess you could say is disadvantaging others and advantaging itself. They certainly are selling ads. It's not like they're not in the ad business.
But they have the same opportunities that everybody else there has, which is if everybody else has a big enough platform, then the first part, that's what Google is using. That's what other people are using. They're not, so it's not just Apple that has that first party, access to the content. It's just that they can't sell it to somebody else. Like that's the thing that is just so gooey and yucky.
Right.
That's what's amazing is that governments are willing to, it's bad enough that it's done, but the fact that governments are actually trying to prop up a totally perverse and just wrong way of managing things, it's just, and again, if people are okay with it, then sign off on the little whatever. But it just seems so obvious that we should be allowed to say, I would not like to be sold like a market pig to
Apple is going to appeal, which means they don't have to pay the fine until the appeal concludes. It's more than just a fine, though. The ruling says Apple must immediately cease the, quote, distortive behaviors.
This logic is so broken because what they're basically saying is third parties should have as much control as first parties for everything, which seems exactly backwards. It seems like if you think that there are things that Apple is doing, which I'm not sure it is, to do this, then what you should do is make those marketing practices or tracking practices illegal, right? But what they're saying is, no. It doesn't matter that you have a previous relationship with Apple and that Apple is the first party here. If Meta wants access to everything that Apple has access to, you should let them. It's so backward. It's so not defending the users. It's ridiculous.
Not just what the Meta app itself sees. It allows them to the checkbox
connected to the rest of what they know. Yeah,
track you across other apps.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it really depends on what a government is what point the government is trying to make. If they're saying that every company on the earth should have access to every scrap of data that Apple has access to by virtue of the fact that it manufactures the hardware and the operating system and a lot of the software, that's stupid. That's just a non-starter. It might be worth asking the question, should Apple demonstrate in a public way that it can't exploit its users the way that it wants to stop other companies from exploiting its own users? That's a good question, and I'm not suggesting that there's a clear answer to that. But in my ideal world, the way that Apple would respond to this is saying, okay, we will actually make the case that here is why we actually are not giving ourselves any advantages. Apple's position has always been that, look, we actually put more control over our own use of data than what we actually require of other companies. So it's really not, you're legislating a non-problem here. And it's okay for Apple to be forced to just simply say, don't just trust us. We're going to make this case and make sure you understand how this works. But I do agree with Alex that the danger is that this is not an ideal world. The clouds are not candy-colored rainbows, and oftentimes a government has the ability to basically do absolutely the wrong thing for only partially the right reasons. And really, there's a reason why, like, I trust so much data to Apple. It's because I wouldn't say that I trust any $3 trillion company to just trust me, bro. But if there's a company where I get close to that, it is Apple. And so, but it's okay for Apple to be forced to simply say, don't trust us. Okay, fine. If you're going to sue us over this, we're going to explain to you in detail in such a way that the world will understand that this is how secure we treat actual customers' data. And no, we're not using this to give Apple Music an unfair advantage over Spotify. We're not using it to give Apple TV an unfair advantage over Netflix and YouTube. This really is all about a philosophy of protecting the consumer, which is something that Apple's been able to defend basically since the beginning.
Apple will be increasing the number of ads in the App Store search results, they announced on the Apple Ads website. Available in 26 additional opportunities in search results. That means more ads, I guess.
Yep.
That annoys the heck out of me, because the number of times on both app stores where it's like, okay, I want this specific app. I know which app I want. And the top result is something that is not an overt scam, but it's clearly trying to make you think that, I know you kind of want the transit app, but we got an app that is not as good as that, and our logo is kind of the same color. It's not a trademark infringement, but we know what we're doing here. And because I'm not searching for a transit app, I'm not searching for a music app, I'm searching for this specific app. It's like, oh, number one search result, great, that must be it. Install. Like, damn it, Andy, you fool, you've fallen for it again. So I hope that Apple will do a better job than has been done in the past, particularly on the Google Play Store. On the Google Play Store, you really have to stop, drop, and roll before you install an app just to make sure that you're not being scammed into something.
The way it works is it's an auction, and the way it works, just like Google Ads, just like most other digital ads, is let's say your TikTok, you can say, every time somebody searches for Facebook, I want a TikTok ad at the top of the page there. Now, Apple says we can't guarantee placement because of these new positions. Your ad could be somewhere else on the page, but that depends on how much you offer at the auction.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. One of the reasons I hate it is because it is a closed environment, right? Apple controls it 100%, and then they monetize it with search. So that bothers me. I hate the fact that Apple is charging developers, in lots of cases, 15 or 30%. And then, and this is the thing that doesn't get talked about as much, if you're a developer, you then have to spend a lot of money to Apple. Of the 70% or whatever 85% you got, you have to spend it on search ads for your own product's name, because it's kind of a protection racket. Otherwise, the competitors will buy your name and put their competition there. Even though the user is searching for your app, they will show the competition unless you pay up. It does feel like a protection racket. The fact that it is entirely exclusive, the fact that it is 30%, and then they steal more money away from you, because it'd be a shame if your competitor came in and paid us for us to show that when people are looking for your app. I hate it. And now it's going to be worse because there are going to be even more spots. I'm not opposed to the idea of search advertising, but when you put it on a thing that is a completely closed shop, you can't go anywhere else. You have to be in the App Store. And they're already taking a large percentage. And then they want to catch back more of what they gave to you. You have to pay it back to them again. And this occupies huge amounts of time for if you're a developer of a big app. You have to spend a lot of time working on search strategies and buying search ads from Apple, not even offensively to try and take out a competitor or to guess what the best ads are, because I can see that, but literally to defend your own mark, it's ridiculous.
It explains why sometimes when you search for an app, there is an ad right above the app
for the wrong app.
To me, that's
for the same app, yeah.
Or for the same app, which really confuses me. And then I think if I click that and install it, it's going to cost that company more money than if I click the other one. And if I like the company, I will click the other one. And if I don't like them, I'll click the ad.
Yeah, that's to me that is unacceptable and unethical for an app store to actually allow that to happen. If a user does a search for Ulysses, Ulyses, they know exactly what they're looking for. They want the markdown text editor called Ulysses. The number one result should be the actual Ulysses app. No debate, no question about it. No buts. That's exactly what should happen. That's what the user expects to happen. When there's when there's something above the actual Ulysses app that is a markdown editor, particularly because again, it just happens so often that our it's not a butterfly, it's a moth, and it's not gold. It's a gold moth. It's an orange moth. Like, you know what you're doing. You're trying to trick people into installing an app they don't want and we're not looking for. And the thing is, and Apple should be a lot more motivated against this, because they're not good. People aren't necessarily immediately aware of ad placement and search results in the App Store. They think that they asked the App Store for an app, it gave them the app. So if they wind up downloading something they didn't intend to download, they're going to basically be blaming the App Store for that.
App download confusion is a very real thing. We've all done it. We've downloaded the wrong app. It happens all the time, and this just facilitates that even more.
I think that
in addition to the fact that their search is bizarrely awful.
I think that the overall problem is that it just reduces. I mean, not from a moral perspective, but really just from a pure business perspective, it just reduces the amount of enjoyment there is in buying new apps. So, I know that for me, between app confusion and subscriptions, I have greatly reduced the number of how often I go to the App Store, which used to be almost every day. There used to be, I remember the early days of there's the discovery period of I wonder what's new or cool or whatever.
I need a game.
Yeah,
exactly. I need a game.
And it was just for the price of a cup of coffee, I could buy something that was fun. And if I only used it for a couple of days, it didn't matter, and it was fine. And there was this kind of flourishing. And I think that the mixture of, what is this actually, what am I committing myself to? Number one. And number two, I now, if I don't see a number, I mean, as someone who just released something on the App Store, I wanted to make sure that we sold it for something this is it. Because when I still don't see a price, I assume I'm in trouble. I just assume that this is trouble.
Pay me now or pay me later.
Yes, and I'm just so I need to see a price, on it, or I won't, or I almost never open it up.
It's free, Alex.
I just want to see. I want to see and I want to see the cost. And then the other thing is that it's so frustrating to try to find what I'm looking for. In that process, and there's, as Andy said, so many copies of everything, and it does feel like that needs to be tightened up on.
Yeah, you've raised another point that, boy, I mean, again, we're old and we've been around since the App Store was a pup. And there wasn't quite the same volume of apps being uploaded every single day, but there was a time in which it was like going to the record store.
Yeah,
it was I've no need for a new album, but I just want to drop it and see what's new. Hey, actually, that looks kind of nice. I think I will try that out. And I don't think that's, and again, the volume of uploads to the App Store, particularly with AI and vibe coding, is starting to get out of hand. But I really wish that Apple had a better case of fun and discovery and investigation because it feels like it's very easy to find the top 10 in every category. It's not so easy to find. Here's something that's kind of interesting. Here's something that's brand new. That's kind of interesting. Even if you do want to simply say, you know what, I will set this category to just list all apps in the order in new order. So I just want to see what was the last 100, 200 apps. I'll scroll because I'm waiting for a bus, or I'm at the restaurant and my breakfast order is late. Okay, I'll just scroll, and gee, that kind of looks interesting. Gee, I think I will give that a try. And there's just not that sense of fun. The App Store is engineered for a sense of purpose, and that's not what it was.
All righty, let's see here.
Hello.
Hello. Why does my phone do that?
Hi there.
It shouldn't do that. Why is it playing into?
You're on the air,
Santa.
Pacoima, hello. You're on the air.
Pacoima, hello.
Go ahead.
No,
Go
okay.
ahead.
You know, Alex, we held this a secret. We have a very, very special guest. A Tim C is calling in. Do we have that feed?
Alex, I want to welcome you and say good morning. You're in the Apple family.
Yeah, exactly.
Good morning.
Apple,
This is Tim. We
Hello.
know who you are.
This is Tim.
This is Tim.
I can fantasize. I can dream.
We honestly think this is the greatest hire Apple has ever done.
Who would you
Our
rather talk
customers
to?
Love this new hire.
Here's your choice. Who would you rather talk to? Tim Cook, Craig Federighi, Eddie Q, or Johnny Ive?
You're trying to undermine him so he gets fired and he can come back to the show in February.
You're asking me. I'd like to talk.
I'm in full support, by the way. I'm just pointing it out just for honesty.
Being a good interview subject is probably the worst qualification for a CEO. You don't want to be you want to be deadly dull for interviews. You don't want to say anything surprising or unusual. They're highly twained not to do that. Eddie might be fun, though. I could see Eddie being a little outspoken, getting a little off the reservation.
Yeah.
Craig, I'm trying to get him fired, aren't I? That's
Eddie,
again.
Leo's like, this is how we keep Alex on the show.
Again, I'm fully in support, but I believe as an ethical matter, Alex has to be known that we are actually goading him into.
Yes. No.
One time I ever interacted with Eddie at all, I had a one-on-one interview with him. I mean, it was one-on-one in the sense that we were talking, and also there were like 5 people surrounding us, but it was a briefing, and it was on the record, and I had one of those moments of like, whoa, you mean Eddie's going to say something wacky and I'm going to be able to quote it directly? And he did, and I did. And it's like, bless that guy, because he just, I feel like he's got all the money and he's got all the credit at Apple, so he can just do whatever he wants, and he does. It's great. So I would talk to Eddie again, because I think he would have funny things to say.
Apple Maps no longer. This was a big thing when they announced this, the flyover feature that you would go over a major city or a landmark and you'd be able to fly over it. It's gone. iOS 26 killed it.
A lot of us didn't know where to find it.
Exactly. Didn't know it was there.
That's probably why. We couldn't figure out. I remember seeing it and then couldn't figure out how to open the feature and then stop looking for it. Like it was just like, okay.
Came out in 2014 with iOS 8 and Yosemite. The flyover imagery,
the visualization of the 3D satellite visualization still there, but they used to have like a tour where they'd like take you from place to place, and that they killed that.
They collected it with actual airplanes. That's how old it was. Nowadays, you'd use a drone. Oh, maybe you wouldn't.
I realized I was driving around last week, because I was on site, and I was like, I have no idea how San Jose works. Like I was in San Jose and I was like, I don't know. Like all I know is the map keeps on telling me where to go. I couldn't picture where my hotel was in relationship.
Nobody who lives in San Jose knows how it works. It's just, that's the way
but it was
San
just a funny
Jose
thing.
is.
I was like, I have no idea how these two are related. All I know is that I keep on the maps keep on taking me in a different way every single time I go. So it's like, I'm getting to see lots of it. I just don't know where I am. So it's a funny thing that
I lived in San Jose for years, and
that's the map life.
It's confusing. Yeah. It's
the highways. There's nobody
there
in this weird. There's really nice places in.
Yeah. There's some really nice places, but and they just pop up. You drive by them, you go,
Yeah, it's like one of the theaters for Arena 1 is Sunnyvale, and so I've been to Sunnyvale more often than I thought I would ever be.
Sunnyvale, not nice. That's where all the car dealers are. Yeah.
No, there's a Sunnyvale area right around where the AMC is, and there's all these cool little restaurants and all this. You can go, and you're just like, where did this come from?
It's Glen Park or Glen. It's Glen. Yeah, there's some nice areas. Yeah. It's kind of sprawly. That's the problem with that whole area. It's just sprawls.
Much of the Bay Area.
Yes.
Sprawly.
From 6colors.com and Jason Snell, who's putting links in the thing because I've run out of stuff to say.
Oh no, this isn't new. We were talking about this is when Apple Sports came out. That was when Eddie sat down with me and he said, "I just want to get the damn score of the game." And I was
just want the score.
Well, that's a quote that's going in there, and I just Googled it, and like 20 other stories say, as he told Jason, he just wants the damn score.
That's why you want to interview.
Thank you, Eddie.
Eddie Q.
He's going to say something interesting.
He is. In fact, that's my big beef with Apple Sports. It's the worst spoiler app ever.
You're watching a football game and then your phone buzzes and you're like, they scored, didn't they?
Yeah, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
It's so annoying because it's slightly ahead of the broadcast. I don't know how they do it.
I have this thing with YouTube TV. Like if I'm going up to the game and it's already, I almost always start the game 20 or 30 minutes behind.
So you can skip commercials.
So I can skip through the commercials. And so I get up there, but I've gotten really good at knocking my eyes a little out of focus as it pops up so that I don't see, because it shows the score, showing the live game in the little thumbnail. And so you'll see the score and it'll ruin everything if you see it. So there's this weird thing of rolling up and being able to say something without actually seeing what's actually going on. But yeah.
Okay. I don't usually, look, we just got a new iPhone, we're going to be talking for the rest of the year, 2026, about the foldable phone. The information has some more information about it, saying it's going to emulate the Google foldable more than the Samsung foldable. It's going to be a little chonky, 4x3 chonky.
Yeah, and somebody actually made a mock-up based on like the latest rumors and reports the idea that the outer screen is going to actually be more like an iPhone mini, and then when you open it, it's going to the idea was to make it look like a horizontal iPad mini when you open it, which means that they have to make certain sacrifices, so that's not it's not an expansive experience for the outer screen.
That's kind of that's all in the early. Foldables, this front screen was really small.
Yeah.
But now, this is the latest Samsung Galaxy Fold. It's pretty much a normal size phone. And because it's so thin, the expectation, I think, from consumers is it's going to be look like a normal phone that just magically turns into a iPad mini.
Yeah, and looking at this 3D print version, that's actually very, very. It's not based on like previous renders or CAD or anything like that. It's basically if the rumors of the size of the internal screen when it's unfolded and the external screen when it's unfolded are true, here is what that would fit into in the case of a book style foldable with a hinge in the middle of it, and it in the user's hand it looks kind of smaller than what I would be in love with.
Here's the picture from.
It looks like a big phone as opposed to like a small tablet.
It looks like the Microsoft foldable phone, which was also 4.3. It's a little disturbing because it doesn't look like a phone anymore. But on the other hand, once you open it, it's the right aspect ratio, right?
Yeah, I think that's another question. That it's the thing is like a normal size phone. When you unfold it, it turns into a square usually. Right. And I don't know, aesthetically, are people going to be happy like watching like widescreen content or having like the tablet experience with a square form factor? I don't know if it's a big deal. Is it a manufacturing issue about the panels that they have access to? It's hard to know. I understand, and yet I also kind of reject, like, a lot of criticism of folding phones is about the size of the letterboxed video playing. Yeah. And it's like, if you're buying a folding phone to unfold as a watch video, don't.
Just don't, because it's not going to get any better. If you want to run like 2 apps side by side or have more content on a square or 4:3 kind of screen, then it's good for that. But 16:9 widescreen content, it's like not going to be any bigger at all. For that, you do need like a trifold phone or something like that,
which is here.
But like even then, so I think on the one hand, it is absolutely true that these are bad at widescreen video. On the other hand, like, of course they're bad at widescreen video. That is not why you would buy one. So that's kind of for me, I think of it as, if I could have an iPhone that was also an iPad, a small iPad, but an iPad.
Which is what this looks like. 7.7 inches opened up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Darren
Oakey, who is one of our nerdiest Club Trip members, actually 3D printed from the specs. This is his own 3D print he did yesterday.
That's dedication. That's dedication.
2 in the morning, it looks like. I really liked the Microsoft. What was that? I can't even remember the name of it.
Courier?
Pardon me?
Was that the Courier, the canceled one that actually had a mechanical hinge?
It wasn't the Courier. It was
They had the Surface that you made.
The phone. No, they had a phone that they made.
No, I think they actually called it, confusingly, they called it a Surface.
Yeah. And it had a hinge. It didn't have a folding screen, but I really liked the form factor. The real flaw, of course, was
was that the Surface Duo?
That was
Duo. That's it.
Yeah, Surface Duo,
which was not a folding screen, right? It was a folding phone with 2 screens.
But I really liked it. If the software hadn't been so crufty, I might have stuck with it. I bought it and then returned it because that's what I want.
I really believe that the number one asset Apple will have in doing a foldable is that they've been doing the iPad for 15 years and they know what they're doing, and the software is there.
That's what sells me on it.
Not just that, but what I'm most looking forward to is, like, we've all now seen a folding phone. Okay, and they've got the greatest folding display manufacturer, Samsung, working with them side by side to produce a screen without a crease and to whatever specifications of quality and light that they want. What I think that Apple can bring to the table is the experience of what does it imply when I'm using a phone app and then I open it into a tablet. What should then happen? Should I then see a second desktop experience that I can then populate? Should my phone cover experience then turn into a tablet experience? What kind of ways can you allow me to instinctively exploit this idea that I've got what is in fact a book with a hinge in the middle of it? The different approaches that Samsung and other manufacturers have used to the idea of just the simple idea of, I don't necessarily even want in this application a widescreen tablet experience. I just want to have one phone app. I want to have my mail app on one side of the screen, and I want to have a notes app on the other side of the screen. Or I want to have a web browser on one side and, again, a notes app or a markdown editor on the other side of it. How well is it going to copy or improve upon what Samsung and Google has been doing, which is saying that, hey, we'll let you capture basically set up pairs so that you can just basically tap one app and you will have this book experience with, again, not overlapping windows that you then have to manage, but no, we understand that you just want this on the left side, this on the right side, or now you've got this like open on your desktop, open on the table in front of you, kind of like a laptop. You just want a social media app on the flat part that's on the table, and you want just a video live stream app that's on the part that's popped up on an easel sort of screen. That's the sort of stuff that Apple can really do because they understand human interface, not liquid glass notwithstanding, but they've got another year to fix that. Like, they understand that the human experience and what people are expecting, and it's more than just fixing the hinge and fixing the screen.
Yeah. Well, this is why I don't really like to talk about this stuff, because we're going to have plenty of time to talk about it the next 12 months. This is Alex's last show, and I'm sad to say I don't have any Vision Pro stories, but just for old time's sake, John Ashley, would you just play the theme one last time?
What do you see? What do you know? It's time to talk to Vision Pro.
Nothing to say.
I hear this reporter has just learned that Alex Lindsay has been hired to do 3D related things at Apple, which makes me suspicious that there's more from the Vision Pro.
Notwithstanding, I think we should just, as a round table, just go person by person and talk about what we think Apple is going to do and should be doing with the Vision Pro and immersive video content. Alex, you're first alphabetically. Why don't you start?
I think the one thing I will say is that one of the things that we've seen with shooting with the immersive camera and posting it is that even with the power of the Vision Pro right now, we can't push the full quality that the camera is actually capturing to it. So when we think that Apple shot too far with the Vision Pro, it's still a hard problem to solve, and so I think it's going to be really interesting to see where all of that goes in the future, which right now I don't know anything about. and
but you
by
will
the
soon.
end of January, I won't be able to tell you anything.
Yeah.
So,
if he knew, he couldn't tell us, and if he told us, he would never know.
You have a butt. You could pull things out of it right now if you wish. This is your last opportunity, I think.
I'm, obviously have been excited about the headset for a long time, so I think that
I'm having some fun with you.
But I think the video is going to be.
We are going to lose half of our Vision Pro owners.
It's true.
Well,
my math is correct.
There's 2-hour shipping. You can still make one hell of a Christmas present.
I wonder if I should buy a Vision Pro just to keep the ratio even.
Man, I think there are used ones out there now for more reasonable.
I'm waiting to hear if Apple puts an F1 app on the Vision Pro. If it does, I'm in. I'm all in. I'm gonna do it.
I've now seen that movie 4 times.
What?
I'm not even a race person.
Not even that good.
Yeah, I had opportunities to watch. So I had the opportunity to watch it at Skywalker Ranch, and then at Dolby, and then on my headset, and then my family finally wanted to watch it last weekend on just on the TV.
I keep saying, honey, we should watch F1, but if we watch it, we should watch it on the good TV upstairs. And we just never get around to it.
Alex, what does that do to your movie watching when you say, I have seen this movie in the 2 greatest theaters in terms of picture quality, projection quality in the entire world, and then you watch it at home, on a TV? Does your eye twitch or something? What is that experience like?
It's a pretty large drop. You go, okay, well, maybe going to the theater might make a difference, because it's, I will say the audio is a bit of a drop on the Vision Pro. The video, the actual projection of it on the Vision Pro, you can actually see, and it's very, very clear of how it looks. But the audio, of course, you feel it, in the theater in a way that you don't feel it on
especially
the
Skywalker theater, which
both of them are pretty. I mean, So the anyway, but.
I guess Dolby would have pretty good sound too. Come to think of it,
pretty rich. It's pretty rich. And
they had Rebel speakers when I was there last. So I think that probably it sounds very good. Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. And the but I will say that the interesting thing about the thing I keep on getting that I watch now because I've watched it a couple times is just how they did it. It's worth watching. Watch the film. Don't ruin it first. Then watch all the behind the scenes and then go back. What Apple did with that product is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It is, really, and I guess at least the story is that Hamilton wanted to be in
Lewis Hamilton, former Mercedes driver, 7-time champion who's now at Ferrari and struggling somewhat.
Yeah. He wanted to be in a movie that the DP was working on. He wanted to be like someone in the movie, and then that didn't turn out. But then they had a connection, and then they started going back and forth about it, and then Lewis Hamilton brought the conversation to F1 and
so that's how the movie got made.
Yeah.
It was Lewis Hamilton's idea.
It was he and the DP were talking about what could be done, and you can only do this.
They were interested in the technology of actually recording these races.
Yeah,
they used I think footage from Sergio Perez, his Red Bull, and I think Brad Pitt was apparently driving the car, but Sergio footage from a race, as I
don't know if Brad Pitt was ever driving an F1. I think that he was always driving. They were always in F2s, I think, or that are modified and so on and so forth. Yeah. And they were never in F. I think the problem is the F1s are so expensive. These are $100 million, $200 million. They don't want to put, but they. But anyway, the behind the scenes are just stunning. Like what it took to do that is pretty amazing. And so I think that's what I'm interested in from the technical perspective. It was just a huge lift, that is really, really interesting. So.
Yeah. Remember that Apple actually, there was a story, was it last year, that Apple actually sort of like for the in-car footage, they basically, well, I'll tell you what, we will build you a special iPhone. Like we'll build you a special cameras using all the iPhone technology that is suitable for this application.
Yeah, basically.
And it's like,
here's a bunch of engineers like, hey, we need you to build a new camera that's never been built before that works on the fin. I think it wasn't for the actors themselves, but it was there was these shots that were kind of over their shoulder, I think, that they were using for that. And yeah, it was just, and then the fact that they would have stuff that they could shoot right at the very beginning of the race. And by the time all the racers came around, they had to be off the track. And they said, oh, did that mean you had like 10 or 20 minutes? He's like, no, we had like 90 seconds. Get off the track.
By the way, that's a whole lap in F1 is 90 seconds.
Everybody, I know I always say, please check the gate. This time I'm saying, please check the damn gate.
And then move.
And then a lot of that footage again was with those Ronin 40s running around because you just couldn't take a big camera down there and set it all up. And so it was, and then a lot of replacements where you have a lot of digital replacements. And then the discussion about the audio is.
I know why insane. You took this job at Apple. I get it now. You're going to get to be on set for the next thing and the next one after that.
Probably. I doubt
That's part of your job.
I doubt it.
No, it is. It's part of your job.
I doubt it. So yeah,
you got to be. You're the interface. You're the liaison. You got to be there. That's. You know what? Nice move, Alex Lindsay. Would you just, for the benefit of our. First of all, let's wind up the Vision Pro segment.
Now you see, now you know, we're done talking the Vision Pro.
And would you, for the benefit of our audience who is bereft, just one more time say 8K per eye so we can all have a drink in your honor?
Well, Alex, I did that last week just because you weren't here.
Because, it's 8K per eye.
120 frames per second.
What we're hoping for is 120 frames per second, 8K per eye HDR.
And now you might have some input on all of that.
You're looking forward to Vision
Small
Pros
cog.
that require an eye upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. Small cog, I think, is where I'll be.
Love it. Problem here. Pluribus, tomorrowbus, tinnitus. Really. Is it at midnight tinnitus?
Yeah. When they say that Pluribus comes out or any Apple TV show comes out on a date, it's actually 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific the night before.
So tonight at 6, the last episode of the season.
Yes, exactly.
Finally, the denouement we've all been waiting for.
As with Thanksgiving, Apple has pulled it forward from the holiday so you can watch it in advance.
I take everything I said last week back. I'm very excited, and I can't wait to see the last one. Apparently, Rhea,
I'm still behind. I have started watching it though. I'm still behind.
Well, thank you.
I'm still behind too because I was not ready for how emotionally
you can't watch
it is.
A couple episodes at once. You got to really.
It's like I really have to evaluate. Like, okay, am I in the mood today to not knowing what's going to happen in this episode? Will I see something? I might see something that's absolutely devastating. Tell you what, why don't we wait until like tomorrow 10:30 in the morning so there will still be 5 hours of daylight and that maybe there's a chance I could like meet someone for lunch after I see it to reconnect with humanity, because there have been moments that just like I was just, hey, look, it's new like fun sci-fi thing from the guy who did Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It's like I didn't expect to be like I'm fine.
It is pretty deep.
Fine.
It is pretty deep, isn't it? Yeah,
it's exhausting. It's really good.
No spoilers, of course. We're not going to do that to you because you deserve to see it fresh. But Rhea Seehorn, who's the star and really is wonderful in it, says that the final episode is a doozy.
Well, it would be a first if an actor promoting a final episode said it wasn't that good.
But still, within context, this isn't
Snoozer.
Burt Reynolds on the Tonight Show talking about stroke or race. This is
I think I
already
believe her.
pretty well lauded show that everybody's like, again, I want to see it with loved ones so that they can support me when I.
Well, we know there's going to be. I can't say anything, but we've been building for all these episodes to a denouement, which I think is tonight. So we'll see.
But then also there's a second season that was part of the original deal.
I think
so it was
a third season is also greenlighted.
Well, it would not surprise me, but when they initially picked it up, it was for 2 seasons, which means that it was not planned with this being the end, which is nice storytelling wise. But if you're expecting resolution, I don't think you'll get it.
Yeah. Jason, what do you think? Given the history with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul of like saying, tell you what, the next season is going to be season 2A, and then there's going to be a pause, and then there's going to be season 2B. Do you think we're going to see like that kind of thing where we get 4 episodes, and we got to wait a while, and then we'll see like the remaining 4 or something like that?
I mean, that was mostly because of the broadcaster wanting to stretch it out. I think Apple is happy. Apple likes its strategy of rolling off 8 or 9 episodes, and then some other show comes right behind it, and I think that will probably continue. I do wonder. I doubt this will happen with Pluribus, but Apple has had some great success with Slow Horses, of doing 2 seasons at once. So the reason that the Slow Horses seasons are short, they're 6 episodes, but they shoot 12 episodes in a block. Yeah. And then that's how the season pace is able to be kept up. And I would love to see more of these very high value TV series try to shoot more episodes and break them in 2 so that you've got 2 slightly shorter seasons that don't come 3 years apart. The problem with it is back in the day, they used to shoot like Star Trek, the original, they would shoot those episodes in like 6 days, right? Modern TV, they shoot it like a movie. It's multiple weeks for an episode. And so when you think about it that way, and then you think about these stars like Gary Oldman and Slow Horses, and then you're saying, well, we're going to shoot for a year, it's not going to happen. So in some ways, that is why it is the way it is. But yes, I love the idea. I fully endorse it of doing more things like Slow Horses, where you shoot more at once and then maybe split it in 2, and that makes it feel like as a viewer, like for example, The Pit on TNT, which is coming back in January. They did 15 episodes and then they broke, but they're coming back in January. I remember what happened in season 1 of The Pit. A lot of these streaming shows, you don't even remember what happened because it was 3 years ago. So if you're going to get the band back together, I'd rather you shoot 12 episodes and break it into 2 seasons of 6 than shoot 8 episodes and then break for 2.5 years. So we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Now, to put it in perspective, I believe that the budget, if I heard correctly, the budget for Star Trek: The Next Generation ranged between $750,000 and $1.5 million an episode. So that's where, and that was a star. I think it was the most expensive TV show being made at that point. It was $1 million an episode, right? Yeah, it was like there were some that were a little less, some a little more because there was an overall season budget, so they would make some more efficient and some they would splurge on and splurge on and the Pit is considered a bottom, like this is as cheap as we can make it. It's all done in one set, and there's almost no exteriors. They've done all this stuff to make it efficient. $6 million an episode.
Yeah, that's the bargain. That's the bargain. Pluribus is reportedly $15 million an episode.
Wow,
I'm surprised it's that little.
It's fairly simple.
But
although I always think about how much they cast, they must have.
The VFX for that show. If there's so my friend Todd Vaziri, who works at ILM, talks about this a lot. People are like, I don't like CGI; it's ruining things. What you don't see is, first off, every movie has CGI, but it's the secret stuff that you don't even know is there. And so a great example of that is Pluribus, where they have to still and empty every shot of Albuquerque because they shot it in Albuquerque. But
say too much about.
Well, I'm just saying there are scenes where there's nobody on the street, and they have to take a street that has things on it and empty it out. So there's a lot of secret VFX happening. I have to say
the roof scene was not super good CGI, and there were technical reasons they were having trouble with it.
Right, there was lighting issues and all of that. But the point is that, like, even in a show that you might say, well, does it really have any VFX? The answer is yes, lots. Yeah, every show has VFX.
I worked
every show.
Alex taught me that. Alex taught me that.
Small Japanese film called Memories of a Teenage Amnesiac, and it was a $1 million film. And it was a like a romantic comedy kind of thing or romantic drama, and it was 220 visual effects shots.
Yeah. Well, not just things like that, but like in the Office. Okay, like early 2000s sitcom. There are shots where, the thing is like they cut a scene that was supposed to indicate that this scene is now happening a day later, and they cut that scene. So now all this is happening in one day. So they had to replace somebody's shirt digitally to make sure that they're wearing the same shirt in this talking head as they were like in the rest of the show. And it's like, I had no idea that had happened. And I had no idea that it wouldn't be, well, wouldn't you just bring the guy back in and just put him in a new shirt? Wouldn't that be simpler? Like, no, just it costs money, and once you get approval, it's a solved problem. But that's the reason why. Like, again, I will never say that I understand how visual effects works, because I'm like Todd said.
If you can see it, we didn't do it right. I mean, I think a good example is Last Frontier. I feel like part of why I don't think it's not getting.
It got canceled.
Season. Yeah. I think part of it might have been somebody watched it and gone, well, they could have just come and asked us for more money, because like the visual effects were the worst on any Apple TV show ever. Like
Todd posted a thing about Richard Linklater's new movie, and everybody's like, "Oh, Linklater, he's really down to earth, and it's Nouvelle Vague, and it's set in Paris, and it's in black and white." And you're like, a real film. And then Todd has a before and after, because Todd is in the Academy and actually votes. They do the thing called the Bake Off, where they actually see all the movies that are up for the VFX Oscars, and they decide which ones will be nominated. A bunch of VFX pros go, and they see the befores and afters, because you have to see, like, this is what we did. And that Linklater movie, like, it's just a picture of a lady walking down a street in Paris, and it's like, it is so not, because like there's a big green wall behind her where they're going to composite some other stuff out, and like there's a sweeping camera move that you think is just panning around the street. Most of the street is not there. It's a 3D built street set that is composited into the camera move. Like, if you take anything away from this, it's this. It's like, I guarantee you, every show you watch, every movie you watch, there's a thing in it that is completely a VFX shot, a complex VFX shot, and you will never think that there could be VFX in it, because that is where we are. And it does make things more expensive, and it makes post-production last longer. That's one reason why everything is more expensive to shoot. They don't do as many episodes of TV shows, and why it takes them 6 months to get the stuff out after they shoot, 9 months after, because they have to do all the VFX. It's not just like, well, we'll just edit this thing together and post it on apple.com. It's not like that. It's way more complicated than that.
Yeah. It's when it's not in a show about aliens. That's when it gets you. It's like, no, this
exactly.
Is
it's just a street in Paris. How could it be VFX? It's like, it is totally VFX.
Two librarians in 2024 in Waltham, Massachusetts, walk out of the library building and get into their cars. And
in feature films like what Todd works on, the other thing that happens, I don't think it happens as much on prestige TV, although I think it does happen. You also have that set where a director. It used to be a director will be like, well, okay, this person's performance is better in take 5, but the other person in the shot, they're having a conversation, that performance is better in take 7. I guess I need to pick. Well, guess what? Now they don't need to pick. They take the two different performances and they stick them together with VFX into a single performance, with take 5 over here and take 7 over there. That stuff happens all the time now too. So like, does it make it better? Sure, but also I think there's probably a case to be made that sometimes you're like, hey, director, take 5 was fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh well.
It's like to me, like the only times where I say, "Oh my God, VFX ruined this movie," it's when you can see things like I can't remember the name of the director, but it's like the Sherlock Holmes remakes movies.
Guy Ritchie, right?
Exactly. Thank you very much. Where it's like, wow, it's like it's a like Victorian London street, but this guy would not put down the Nintendo controller. It's like, wait a minute, there's a corner of the shot that doesn't have anything happening in it. How about we have a chimney sweep who's like fighting a pigeon there, and where does the pigeon fly?
You correctly identify it's not the fault of the VFX. Exactly, it's the fault of the director for demanding that be in there. And a lot of bad VFX you see are because somebody else asked for something that was a bad idea.
If I can control everything in the shot, I'm going to control everything in the shot. I'm not just going to simply do 6 takes, 6 versions of the stunt. Here's the best one.
A lot of times you're like gluing things together too. Like if you look at this shot, this is one of the shots from that movie I was talking about. So here's a shot of her.
This is from Nouvelle. What is this from?
Memoirs of a Teenage Amnesiac.
Teenage Amnesiac.
And so here she is coming out of L.A. Except the problem is that she didn't have enough time. She was a Japanese star. Doesn't have time to go to LA. So here's her in a Japanese parking lot, and we got the shade right, so we got a little block to block her hair, her head there. So you see her coming out there. This was the shot that we did. This is a guy that was ignoring us. Turned out it worked out fine. But
no, it's good. It makes it feel real.
No, it did. But it wasn't like, we were like, at first we were like, oh my goodness, I can't believe he did that. We shot another one without him. And then realized later it was better to roto him in, and so and then that's the shot again. That puts her in the.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And this is like the same. Both of these actors in this case they're in Japan, but this is LAX. And for a while there was one terminal in LAX you could shoot at all the time because it was empty. So that's the shot. But then here's them, and there's the green screen.
Wow. There's your before and after. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's the green screen that we shot there. They get into a car, they drive away, and then there's the roto. Then that's the mat that we used
the garbage mat.
The roto mat to pull them out, and then we had then we shot the background plate that was that's the background plate that we shot at LAX, and so anyway, but that's like a simple little movie, and those happen all the time. Like just
Do you think
you'll never know?
We're starting to see so much really pretty credible AI generated video. Is that going to change VFX?
Yeah,
because you could put people. I mean, you don't even have to green screen people anymore.
Well, I think that it's definitely going to impact extras. Like I think that's what, and the SAG already knew that, and they were concerned about, because that's like kind of bread and butter people who aren't going to ever be a key actor, but they still make a living being extras. Being a cashier, being someone off, whatever it is. That kind of stuff, I think, is going to be AI driven pretty quickly because it's off in the distance. I think that having them be key characters is going to take more time, maybe never. But it's hard for humans to be interesting to watch. I mean, actors are at a whole different level. Like when you see a film actor, it's what it takes to be that person is. Some people it's lucky, but for the most part, they are dramatically different in how they interact. How they emote, but I think that for wide shots, I think wide visual effect shots, of the cityscape, of a random cityscape or a random other things, I think that kind of stuff, especially in lower budget films, is going to be AI pretty quickly. And that kind of thing. The hard part you get into is if you want to put the actors back in, your focal length the distortion, so the vanishing points and what it does to the that all has to match the camera that the actual actor's in, and AI doesn't know how to do that yet. So you end up with these kind of random background shots. For low budget, no one's going to notice, but for real budget, for real films, you can't tie those things back together yet. But there's a lot of work that has to happen there. So I think it's going to take time, but I do think that adding small. I mean, we've been doing some version of that. It's not like we had when we did droid shots in Star Wars. It's not like I had a bunch of people and actual droids down there. We had a particle system that was generating large number of droids, and they had a bunch of rules to follow. Don't run into each other. If you see someone from the other side, shoot at it. That kind of thing. To make those things happen. So those are all that's been around for having the computer build a bunch of stuff for us has been around for a while.
Let's take a break and wrap this up with your picks of the week, and we'll, have a final goodbye to Alex Lindsay. You're watching MacBreak Weekly, last episode of 2025. Next week, our best of brand new shows, January 6th. Shelley Brisbane will be filling in for the empty seat all the way on the right. And we're going to slide Jason over one. And
no more snacks for me. Ha!
And snacks we brought by somebody new.
Can I now say that Mary Jane's and Zagnuts, that they just weren't cutting it, man? I mean,
I like the
Zagnuts. Get what you pay for.
I like the Zagnuts. It was like pretty good.
You're watching MacBreak Weekly, pick of the week time. Why don't we give Alex pride of place on this one?
So I often talk about the fact that I want more automation in my house, but I just can't find something that would work. And I'm just getting started with this, but I'm pretty sure I might have found the answer for my right at the very end of my time here at MacBreak. I may have found the answer. It's called Homey Pro. And what Homey Pro does is this kind of, it uses all the different, it ties into all of the different protocols that are there. But also, what's more important is that it gives you what one of the more important things for me, which is a nodal interface to make decisions by. So basically, you can build decision lists of when this happens with this sensor, I want you to do this, and build out a workflow of automation that allows you to, run a bunch of different things that are all happening. And it can be talking to a bunch of different protocols all at the same time. And so I've just started to play with it a little bit, and I think I'm in love. So I think that it kind of scratches the itch that I had, which was that I really want something that allows me to have more complex interactions with what goes where and how that works, and kind of just figures out the other bits and pieces. So it's a piece of hardware. I think it's $399 for the hardware itself, and then. But that hardware then ties into the rest of your network, and it's again, it's something I'm just getting started with, but it's pretty exciting. I saw it the moment I saw it. I was like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for.
I like it that it's local, that you don't.
Yeah, it's local. It's not cloud-based.
There's no subscription, right?
Right. No subscription.
Yeah.
It feels very Apple-esque. If Apple built something like this, it felt like.
Because you could get like Home Assistant, but the learning curve is so steep for Home Assistant. It really is hard to crack.
And it's a subscription, and you don't have to, but most people do.
But being able to create, and again for me, being able to create flows of this is a nodal. Like I want, when I see that, for some reason I'm very visual, cool. And I don't want to build an automated list. I want a nodal, like when it does this, I want you to do these things. And then I want you to, and it has little things like, I want you to pause for 5 seconds because I need to, or I need you to do the, there's all kinds of operations that you can add into it. And so I think within the next year, my whole house will be
homey,
much more automated.
Homey,
I think
sweet
I'm gonna finally get, I've been complaining about that for almost as long as this show has been out. And I think I might've found the solution.
It's too bad it doesn't support HomeKit, because it does do Zigbee, Z-Wave, Matter, Thread. Be nice if it had HomeKit on it.
I thought that, yeah. So I've been working with some of the other formats right now. So, but
right. It's nice that it, at least, it basically would give you what Home Assistant gives you.
Right.
Interesting. How much?
I think it's $399. It's $299.
Ooh, it's a little pricey.
It's a little pricey.
A little bit pricey.
They have a mini that's cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the Pro. I get the Pro. The mini is in $199. Oh, and they do have a subscription, but you don't have to do it. You could self-host.
Sure.
So they do have a Homey Cloud for $3 a month. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
We'll say good. Don't go anywhere. We're going to say goodbye in a minute. Andy Anako pick of the week.
2 audio picks of the week. I was supposed to spread these out, I think, a little bit more. But okay, first of all, greatest Christmas album ever, Ella Fitzgerald, Ella Wishes You a Swinging Christmas.
I listen to it every year because of you.
Yep, Ella Fitzgerald. This is not like, do you know that like somewhere I think in Greenwich, England, like there is a kilogram or a meter that is not like a meter long. It is the meter. It is the kilogram. It is the standard reference upon which everything else is defined by. This is the Christmas album. It's not a Christmas album. It's not the greatest Christmas album. This is the standard unit of Christmas album. 12 tracks. It has the 10 tracks that you want and absolutely need in a Christmas album. Like you're not going to hear about, and then the cowboy went to the manger. It's like, no, okay, thank you. I'm glad you wrote what you thought was a Christmas song. No, Santa Claus is coming to town. Want it. Jingle bells, you got it. Have yourself a merry little Christmas, you got it. Sleigh Ride, of course you got it. Christmas song, you got it. One of the best versions of the Christmas song ever. And so this is what you put on when you're wrapping gifts, when you're cooking, when you're entertaining guests, when people are coming in and when you tell them, oh, just put the coats on the bed. This is what people are expecting to hear on your HomePod. Her
version of Lil Sandy Slayfoot, the Jimmy Dean classic.
I'm looking at the track. Maybe in the extended edition. There is a deluxe edition, maybe.
I've never heard this song. I heard it for the first time ever. I was listening to Triode in the car. It's the radio from around the world, and it was a Christmas vinyl channel, and they played this song, which was clearly followed Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Thought, what else? What other deformed helper could we have?
There's got to be a way we can get on the freak animal gravy train.
This is going to make you money for years. They'll be playing it every year, traditional Christmas. His name was Sandy Slayfoot, and oh, so sad was he, for though he stood just 4 feet tall, his feet were 3'3". All the reindeer mocked him. The other kids made fun of him, but he learned one day without skis, he could ski. This song, I don't think was a hit.
Very niche.
It was an interesting try.
There was a time when laudanum was an over-the-counter drug.
You said you had two musical
just
picks.
A quick one, and I think most people know what this is going to be. I'm just reminding you that Patrick Stewart used to do a one-man theater version of A Christmas Carol, which he would do the entirety of A Christmas Carol, doing all of the characters, little kids' voices, and hey, he talks like this, Tony Tipping, and it is the most enthralling thing I've ever experienced. It quickly became a holiday classic. I bought it on cassette, if you can believe that, like at Billy 19, an insurance salvage store, and I bought it on CD, and I've bought it and everything.
It's on YouTube now. Actually, you can.
It's on YouTube. You can also buy it as an Audible pick.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it is something that it's worth buying because it's worth having. And I'm not making any fun of this whatsoever. It is sincerely. By the time you get to the end of it, as I always say, any version of A Christmas Carol that does not understand that Scrooge is the hero, not the villain, you got it wrong. Go back and do it again. And this version understands that this is a redemption arc. This isn't Scrooge being scared straight and terrified into mending his ways. It's basically him being broken down by these spirits and say, here's exactly how you've lived your life. Here are the decisions here's the things that you've suffered through, and here's the bad decisions you made as a result of the suffering. But there is a chance at redemption, but you have to choose to do that. And he chooses to redeem himself.
Nice.
And that is just such a wonderful story, and he does it absolutely perfect. It's still it's Groundhog Day is my second favorite version of A Christmas Carol. This is my favorite version of A Christmas Carol.
Really, it's an annual pick, and don't fall for the film. There's a 1999 film with Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
We're talking about the audio book, which you get on Audible and other places in there. Yeah, there is a YouTube version of it that you can play. I presume that's the audiobook.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He was even doing this when he was doing it predates Star Trek: The Next Generation. It was just one of his pet projects, and every holiday he'd rent out a theater and do this, and it's pretty
cool.
You can see the love that went into it.
Every once in a while, on every year around this time, I will see on Reddit somebody discovering that.
Yeah,
and I think, oh yeah, Andy told us about that.
It is abridged. Being a note from Wood Fan from Club Twit. It is abridged. I'm sorry, it is not the full version, but there are not any significant edits or changes.
Yeah, an hour 47 is more than enough. Believe me.
Yes.
Jason Snell, you have several picks of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to do a end of the year favorites thing here. So just things I really enjoyed this year that people might want to pick up. In books, Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz is great. It is short. It's a novella. It is about a bunch of robots who just want to make noodles.
I really like her books. We interviewed her on another book that she did a while ago. And I think she was also on Stacy's Book Club. Yeah, she does some great
Automatic
stuff.
Noodle is really good. It is a cozy sci-fi story in the same way that Travis Baldry's Legends and Lattes and the like are cozy fantasy stories in which, in Legends and Lattes, yes, it's like an orc warrior, but she just wants to open a cafe. Well, Automatic Noodle, it's about robots who want to open a noodle shop in San Francisco, and there's a little bit of drama, but it's just pleasant and fun and nice, and it was one of the best things I read. As well as Moonbound, which is by Robin Sloan, a Silicon Valley guy, actually, very local and into tech stuff. He wrote Sourdough, which was had a moment. Moonbound is great. It is probably the best book I read this year. It is an incredibly weird sci-fi story set in the far, far future. There are dragons on the moon. A 21st century influencer, 24th century influencer lands in the middle of the plot at one point. There are these distributed AI robots at one point, but it's also got a lot of sort of fantasy tropes as well, because it is about a kind of a character who is trying to find his purpose in life, and it turns out that the world of the 31st century is way weirder than you think it might be. Great book, loved it, amazing, mind-blowing. On TV, I mentioned it earlier, The Pit on TNT and HBO Max, I think is a really great show. New season coming, 15 episodes. It's Noah Wyle from ER back doing the doctor thing. It's told over the course of 15 real-time hours, more or less, is kind of the premise. So it's a little 24-like, but it's just a gripping medical drama. A great characters, well drawn. Noah Wyle holds the whole thing down. I loved it. It's one of my favorites of the year, as well as Ludwig, which was on BBC and is on BritBox in the United States. That is David Mitchell from Mitchell and Webb. He plays a set of twins, a police investigator, and his brother, the puzzle creator and solver. And the investigator goes missing, and guess what happens? The puzzle guy pretends to be a detective and uses his puzzle skills to solve crimes. It is hilarious and a fun mystery. Real surprise for me. Ludwig, so good. Loved it so much. Pluribus, we've talked about. Pluribus is great. Department Q on Netflix. Matthew Good has a great performance. If you're wanting to scratch that slow horse's itch, it's not quite the same, but I really liked it. It's a really good show, Department Q. And Severance. We haven't, mentioned Severance in a few months, but season 2 of Severance came out this year, and it was great. It was really good. They managed to keep it going, so I like that a lot. And finally, I got to plug The Rest is History, my favorite podcast of the last couple of years. It has gotten all of its attention now. It was Apple's podcast of the year this year, but it's two historians who are very funny British historians, very funny and very smart, and most importantly, great storytellers who will walk you through great stories of history. And if there's any subject in history that interests you, search their very large archive, and you will find a multi-part series on that, whether it is something happening in before the Common Era, or in the 10th century, or in the 20th century. They've got a broad swath of subjects, and they're just great storytellers. So I spent a lot of time walking the dog and driving the car listening to The Rest is History. Those are my favorites.
Add that to my list. The Rest is History.
So good.
Awesome. Alex Lindsay, is there any way people can reach you or get a hold of you or honor you? Do you want to spend some time in the club? Because there's a lot of tributes going on right now.
Let's find some time to spend some time in the club. Maybe schedule a time to do it before the end of the year. I'd love to. Yeah.
And Apple stock price is up $1.50 ever since we announced that you're going to Apple. So I think that you deserve a pretty good pay package, and I trust that they have valued you appropriately. We'll figure out a time we can get Alex before. Yeah, it'll have to be before you go to Apple.
In the next
when
2
do you
weeks
start?
Best. I start January 5th, so it's right after the break. So let's find a time over the next week and a half. I'd love to.
We'll do that. Yeah,
do a hang. Yeah, absolutely.
And congratulations. I mean, as sad as we are about leaving you, losing you, we're very happy that you have found, I think, a good place for you to advocate for the things you really care about. So
it was for me thinking about it while I was applying. One of the first, I learned how to write. I became an Apple developer in 1982 in grade school. It's like writing graphics apps. That's all I wrote was graphics apps. And my first 3D app when I was 14, it took all summer to do almost nothing. Wow. And so to get to go back and think about that hard, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, no kidding. What an opportunity. I think all of us here and all of us listening would be very thrilled to have that chance, and I'm glad it's you.
I know that it's going to be one of those things, like even today, because we changed the format with office hours, I woke up and there was no show in the morning, and I was just kind of like, this is weird. And I think that office, it'll be weird for me for a while with MacBreak, just because it's
you still have to get up just as early in the morning, though, because you've got to drive to Cupertino.
Oh, no, I'm somewhere to go. Yeah, exactly. So there'll be a lot of driving. Yeah. So no, I'll be getting up early, just not in the same, but the idea of being able to get up every day and hang out and again, from MacBreak, I think that it's been so fascinating to watch being able to sit there and on the front row and just kind of watching what's happening over the last 20 years.
20 years has been a long time for Apple. There's a lot has happened since we started doing this, hasn't there?
It was when we started this, it was very different company. It was pre iPhone, so we were, the iPod was the big thing.
I'm a little sad, but I'm happy for you, and thank you for your friendship and your partnership on this show for the last 20 years. And
it's been my honor.
Godspeed, and have a happy Christmas and a happy New Year. Same to you guys. Have a wonderful holiday. We will be back in 2 weeks, and I guess that's all there is to say. Just have a great 2025, end of 2025. We do MacBreak Weekly on Tuesdays. Next show will be January 6th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 2200 UTC. We stream live on YouTube, Twitch, X.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Kick. But we also stream into the club in our Club Twit Discord, so club members can watch there. Club members, pay attention to the calendar on the Discord, because we will announce a Alex Lindsay AMA sometime in the next 2 weeks on his way out the door, because I think there's lots of people who have a lot of questions for you, Alex. After the fact, you can download copies of the show at twit.tv/mbw. There's a YouTube channel you can use. That's actually great to share video, or subscribe in your favorite podcast client, audio or video or both, and that way you'll have MacBreak Weekly the minute we're done. Alex, it was you who persuaded me many years ago to end each show the same way. Would you like to do the honors this time?
Get back to work, because break time is over.
Bye-bye, everybody.